Not done with me yet. Got me good. They got me. Damn. I'm hit. Got me. Ah. Ah. The bridge above the masked Nat station. Meet me there.
See you around. The cabinet's already got a plan in place to make sure attacks like this never happen again.
Do you hear that? Sounds like fighting. Boots in the dirt, Captain!
The program I was a part of, it was the UC's attempt to create a new generation of military minds from one of their most respected tacticians.
Then I'll see you on Mars. I'll be fine. We've been having similar debates ourselves.
We can't let good resources go to waste. You were just following orders, weren't you? I'm not happy about this.
I spent a lot of time wandering the galaxy by myself.
There was nothing holding me down after the Red Devils were disbanded. The best ones certainly do.
To each their own. Still remember my ceremony. 19 years old, standing on the front deck of Mast, looking over the city. Were you lying earlier?
And we do that.
It's only the captain who has yet to make their thoughts known.
No. They made a pretty grave miscalculation.
Agreed. It doesn't make sense. One in the bag. Captain, mind handing that sample over to Kaiser? He'll be able to keep them viable.
I'd be happy to help carry some things.
It shouldn't be here.
All right, then. Let's move out. But I'm not about to let my past sully a future that's brighter than it has been in a long time. Meaning, there's a very good chance their prey, the Terramorphs, came from that same world. They're the only real chance we've got of unlocking the archives. So without their blessing, we're flying blind. We need to keep them away from the troopers and deal with these things fast before they turn any soldiers against us. At this point, we've got more options to explore than people to work on them. Keep that trigger finger in check. Let's do it. But then, why would they help us? If we were just going to uncover their plot, wouldn't they have tried to stop us?
And I'm sorry about that. I'm just glad you both came through it intact. Ve Victus.
Yeah? I'm all right with that?
Yes. Exactly what we all thought he was.
No, Lazarus plants can't grow anywhere but here, let alone blossom. People have tried. All set on your gear? Are you ready to do this? You swore. You were just doing your duty, weren't you?
Thank you, ma'am. We're honored to serve.
Don't do anything reckless in there.
Well, to confirm my suspicions about this thing, I'm going to need a tissue sample from it. And to get that, I need its corpse.
Now let's get to work.
Description sounds right, but part of the container ID's been corrupted.
He had his men open fire on civilian ships during the Battle of Cheyenne. And then I realized all confronting him now would prove is that he still has some sway over my life.
So if what happened on Londinian, sudden, brutal attacks just like this one, can happen anywhere? No place in the galaxy would be safe. I'm just more shocked my father wasn't connected somehow. He was the only link we had to the Lazarus plant. So how'd Orlays come across it?
What would you like to know?
Apparently they were bloodhounds for Terramorphs. Percival, Kaiser, and our researchers all under one roof. It's good having the squad back together. Thanks for that.
I'll bet there are hundreds of amazing species in the oceans here.
When he died, well, things didn't change the way I'd hoped, but at least I didn't have to worry about him making it worse. Shoot to disable! Don't damage the sample!
I still haven't forgiven you.
Enemies in my sights! I'm a little dumbstruck myself.
Yeah, I miss him and Kaiser plenty. But this is what Percival wanted from me. And I'm grateful to him.
Wait.
If the plant was used to trigger the attacks, that means Ve Victus, he might have been involved in what happened on New Atlantis.
The captain is normally a trustworthy source. If this is just a weird anomaly, or a sign of worse things to come, I can't know. Not until we put that thing down and pull a sample. Londinian. Now we can find the truth.
The theory is that they're spread by some kind of egg or seed that's able to evade our detection. You know, you could have mentioned you were Vanguard, Captain, but I knew the answer before I even finished the thought. I didn't.
No other robot in the galaxy like him. So did you really manage to track him down? And so humble, too. But you do have a point. You can do that? Well, that should certainly make things easier. So then, how do you want to proceed? Ve Victus knew. Now it's up to you to find out what he did with that knowledge.
Shit. Well, if you didn't have its attention before... I mean, I hope they will. But accessing the archives, it's not 100% up to them.
I wouldn't keep everyone waiting for long. I came here on a rumor of a... Well, I expect you saw the results on your way in.
Captain, I guess we've got our assignments. Look, even despite whatever that was back there with telling us it was Orlay's, I just wanted to say...
Which means the cabinet is going to want their say. But before we get up there, there's something else I thought you should know.
While he's certainly got the temperament for mass murder, you told me yourself my father's in jail. I don't see how he could have pulled something like this off. But on the other hand, it means the heat leeches would become impossible to weaponize. There'd still be terramorphs out there, but they'd be the last of their kind.
But thank you.
What the hell? Is that the sample? My God, concentrate fire! Shoot! Shoot! He's down!
It's all right, Sergeant. Your people likely saved the city with what they did here today.
This atmospheric composition is bad news. We can't go any further without our suits. Their weapons busted!
Someone told, huh? We can rest after we've debriefed.
The slate. It's right over there. Well, that's why you brought me along, right? You fly the ship? I'll handle the aliens.
I need to gather all data on this specimen I can. If this turns out to be as bad as I think it'll be, other people are going to need to see this.
Thanks. I'm ready to get moving again. The few protecting the many.
You remember that creature we talked about before you went to Nira? The thing that eats terramorphs, the Asyles? Likely avoid having to toil for years running errands for the Navy.
Because you and I were the only eyewitnesses to the attack. That's more consideration than I'd have given him. And likely more than he deserves. But I suppose we can hope. There is. I mean, there has to be. We just have to find it. I can handle this!
All paths lead to Londinian. There is a way we can deal with the terramorphs on a finer scale. With an engineered microbe.
Don't mention it. I'm not the type to leave useful things lying around. Careful! Their weapon's back online! That weapon won't fire! But as far as we know, no one's ever intentionally spread terramorphs. Yet somehow, they follow us.
Left us wondering. Any conjectures on why Orlay's might have committed the attacks? Or what he was doing with the Lazarus plant?
Track him down, get him to verify that sample's as bad as I think it is, and I'll join you on Mars. Oh, the captain? Yes, ma'am. Couldn't do this without him.
Oh my God. The heat leeches are terramorphs.
Hit the deck! Shit. These things, they're all dominated. Clean them out and keep an eye out for the morph controlling them.
Now, I've just known whole Marine squads who couldn't take down a terramorph. To do it yourself? That's something else.
So you keep mentioning. And it's not getting funnier.
Talsetti, though, it's too young to have a native population. It's only been colonized 20 years?
Well, a couple reasons.
Of course. Take all the time you need. I can help carry some things if you need it. Count me in.
Damn!
Shaping up to be a worse scrap than the one on Talsetti. You're right. We'll tell the cabinet. Nobody else needs to get hurt.
But we're not without resources. This plant, it's got an automated security system. They even took down an entire city once. A place called Londinian had to be quarantined due to a massive outbreak during the Colony War. We repaired the damaged weapon.
You met my father and didn't think to tell me he was alive?
What the hell is wrong with you? No, I encountered it long after the Xenowarfare Division was shuttered. I was just there to observe.
You're really something else. Not here. I don't want to cause any alarm.
Roger that. They are. I'm sure it's nothing. The sergeant's right. We just happened to be in the right place at the right time. No. Lazarus plant can't grow anywhere but here, let alone blossom. People have tried. What we just saw must be some kind of alternate growth method. Isn't that right, Captain?
Then we've got our answer.
Nera was destination #1 for xenoweapons during the war.
Vanguard, huh? Yeah, I expect they didn't. But at least we can tell the cabinet. Ensure he doesn't hurt anyone else ever again. Find out how humanity spread them and put an end to the terramorph problem definitively.
Almost 20 years? But it felt longer. Always good to have you on site, Captain.
Percival? Captain? Let's discuss.
That appears to be the case, ma'am. The captain tracked that information down just after our trip to Londinian.
I've found something for you.
But some members of the cabinet, they see us as reminders of a past they'd rather pretend doesn't exist.
Captain, surprised to see you already. Everything taken care of with Deputy McIntyre?
Then let's get back to the plant and find our next target.
But if he wants to lose one of his best scientists to field work, that's on him. We'll see how long he lasts without me.
Captain, we need to get these samples back to the lab. Ensure we'll be able to handle cleaning up the leeches as well as the terramorphs.
I'd like that. Take care.
If we can get their support, we can get all our old terramorph research out of the Armistice archives.
Let's get this over with! The Red Devils unit I was a part of. They were founded by recruits who'd worked some of Mars' deepest mines. Folks used to adversity. Expert backup, huh? Sounds like Percival's just trying to get me out of his hair. I don't know about this. Leaving the TMD is a big decision. I'll head out soon. I just need to talk to Percival before I go. He's gonna get an earful for arranging this without talking to me about it first.
See you later.
No, your intuition was spot on. Now we just have to figure out what he knew. As much as I'd love to, I've got a lot of work ahead of me on the TMD. You're right. We don't have enough information.
Yes. Our evidence is limited.
Take good care of it. That kind of thing can be useful.
Oh, okay. If you want to.
I was trying to get a tissue sample from the thing to confirm, but got myself torn up in the process. To get my sample, I'm gonna need a terramorph corpse.
Try it now! Good. Once I see the connection reset, I'll get things underway on my end. I patched myself into a terminal on the roof, so I can give you cover from there.
I suppose it does. Captain, do you understand what it is we just stumbled on here?
Clear it with your boss, or commander, or whoever it is that actually sent you here.
He and I, along with our xenowarfare team, researched, bred, and trained aliens from all over the universe to fight alongside our fellow Marines in battle.
My hope is I'm just overanalyzing all this.
All the opportunities I got, and all the scorn I've received, they were thanks to him. You don't need to. The cabinet would never let me enter the archives in a million years. It'd be political suicide.
Farewell for now, then. I'll see you soon.
And yes, the captain and I, we were sent here to help you with these terramorphs.
I had no one when I was outside the UC. No Red Devils, no family.
I wish I had known. But you putting a bow on this means Percival can help us figure out how this attack happened, and maybe stop more.
I'm sure the captain just misspoke. I've only seen one other tissue sample like this. From Londinian. A place terramorphs wiped off the map.
Kaiser, this flora, this is Lazarus plant, isn't it? I don't doubt he believes it. The question is, should we?
These are people's lives we're dealing with here. You need to be a lot more careful once we're down there.
You were just doing your duty, after all. I know what a burden that can be. Yeah, well, there's a reason I'd never brought it up. Even if it doesn't really mean a whole hell of a lot now that he's dead.
It won't be an issue for me, ma'am.
Because I need a tissue sample to figure out exactly how this thing got here. And I know at this point, it's not giving one up while it's alive.
A battlefield? On Nera? So I guess that means you get a second shot today. Maybe don't let me down this time, huh? Now let's move. The settlers outfitted most of the buildings with turrets at some point. Not sure how many are still operable, but at least a few appeared to be in fighting shape. You can do this. Go.
Don't think I haven't racked my brain, but this can be done judiciously.
Found them! You make the impossible look easy, Captain.
Percival. God, it's good to see you. I was worried when I heard they'd crammed an antique like you down in that pit.
Oh my god. Are you talking about Nira?
Nope. Not even an iota. Now let's talk about something else, okay? Kaiser, kick it off.
Lou gave me the abridged version of what went down. Yeah, I can't thank you enough for taking care of all that. Yeah, the deputy mentioned how things went at the embassy. Sounds like diplomacy might not be your forte.
Connection restored. Hope it wasn't too bad a walk. I'll make this quick.
It's hope.
Terramorphs only appear on human-settled worlds, but usually decades, even a century after people have set up shop. I'll make sure we're ready to put that machine to use as soon as you've got them, meaning that somehow we're unknowingly transporting them with us as we travel.
No, they weren't.
No. Thank you.
That heat leech became a terramorph. The pests that have snuck onto every planet are baby terramorphs.
I'm not talking to you. Captain, you're with me. I'll walk you through how we're gonna solve this thing.
Kill some settlers minding their own business on the far edge of space?
What's happening? Captain, are you seeing this?
I picked something up for you. This is for you, Captain. I found it on our travels.
You know I can't do that. I've got an assignment. Since you're the only one who knows where he is, can you speak to him? See if you can get him to cough up anything he might know. They'll have gear there, but if I were you, I'd bring something with some stopping power. Just in case.
Captain, let's move. I'll be right behind you.
Hello. It looks like these settlers built a tracking system for their livestock. Wish I'd found that sooner.
They didn't give us much of a choice. It's hard for me to think of anything that happened during the war as a victory. I'm not proud of all the harm my xeno-warfare unit did.
No aging. No chemical accumulation. It's like it came out of nowhere.
All right, take care of yourself out there.
Once they're online, just lead the terramorph into the fray and watch the fireworks, right? But if he has something to gain from helping us prevent terramorph attacks, I'm not seeing it. You were following orders. I know how hard that can be. I can't fault you for doing your duty.
Folks from Mars aren't the friendliest, but we're as loyal as they come.
Though it sounded like the deputy had a few more things she needed to discuss with you first.
Exactly. It sounds like we need to deal with this terramorph so we can get back to figuring out what is going on. You okay, Captain?
Well, I was only a kid when I found out. At the time, all I felt was confused.
Kaiser? Percival, everything green on your ends?
Do you have any new orders for me?
All right, there. That looks good. Good. Let's go.
There's no getting in there without the cabinet's say-so. And the cabinet is only willing to help if they get to talk to us first.
So right now, it's the only option we've got. Will you do it?
We'll last a lot longer if we avoid dangerous areas like this, Captain.
Sort of thing that'll keep you up at night. And the sort of thing whoever did this probably didn't expect us to uncover. I did. At the time, I thought it was the right thing. For him and for me. But now,
so we'll just have to make sure to watch out for each other down there.
Percival will give you the full story.
Kulkarni and Logan, I expect, will understand the gravity of the situation. The rest of them... That was a well-fought battle.
No, I don't. Working at the TMD headquarters was an exciting opportunity, but I'm not made for desk work. I never thought I'd say this, but I'm glad to be here.
Well, there's no real way to know until we're out there. But a shipping yard means lots of short sight lines and tight corners.
They were dominated. The troopers. They were gonna kill us, right?
And two, they want to discuss what happened on Tau Ceti.
I'm ready.
What if these attacks weren't just freak incidents? What if they were planned?
They turned on each other? That sounds like pheromonic projection. It's a type of mental control. Usually only see it in older terramorphs, though.
Captain, I guess we've got our assignments. I just wanted to say, I haven't seen another Red Devil since the end of the Colony War. It's been a lonely couple of decades.
But I think there's a place where you can start your search. I mean, I do too, but leaving the TMD? That's a big decision. Been a long time since the place looked this good.
Sounds like we're visiting the underground.
I'm not surprised he saw sacrificing others as an acceptable way to solve a problem.
But those are honestly all just educated guesses until we get the connection reset. You can trust me with your things. I'll keep them safe. Percival's already getting the Devil's HQ online so we can hit the ground running.
Okay, I'm listening. What's going on? When the war finally ended, swaths of that world were so devastated they were effectively abandoned.
I'll fall in behind you.
And I guess in the spirit of full disclosure, there's one more thing you ought to know before we head up there.
That their nymphs are capable of a next-level sort of camouflage? That they release spores that get stuck on ships.
You're carrying the most comprehensive collection of information on terramorphs in the known universe. If we can't pry an answer out of there, it likely doesn't exist.
I've loved our travels together, but there really is nowhere like home.
But I think there's a way for us to even the odds against this thing. The plant's security system. Well, something the cabinet can hopefully investigate as they delve into this.
Being on the cutting edge of science is hard work.
Thanks. Glad knowing I've got someone I can trust watching my back. If they had a faster gestational cycle, they might be the galaxy's dominant species. And the ones that are, well, they're giving us a chance. It's up to us to do something with it. So, the deputy and I, along with Chief Engineer Kulkarni, we were discussing the best place for our research to be done. We'll meet outside the cabinet chamber. Well, we'd still be using the microbe to trigger the desired result, so it's got all the same risks as wiping them out does. Grab that recording. We should talk. I think we lost them. Maybe we'll find some other settlers out here.
You swore?
I came looking for an explanation and found all this.
You're mine!
Suppose it does.
I need to gather all the data I can on this specimen. There are some people that aren't going to believe what happened here, and I don't want to leave them with a shred of doubt.
Do you need me somewhere else?
But whether it's something internal to these morphs that's different, or something common in the environment, or something else completely, we can't know yet. Percival and I, during the Colony War, we were in charge of the Red Devil's xeno-warfare team. A team that's been gone for almost 20 years now. It can certainly be a daunting experience. Which is why I wanted to make sure, before you agreed to anything, we gave you the whole truth.
Take cover!
Though getting things online, as I've discovered, is not a one-person job. The admin terminal in this building needs its connection reset. Probably would have been a bunch of floored half-truths anyway. After the Colony War, laws were put in place to prevent a conflict that costly from ever happening again.
We need to find out what happened here.
I'd like to take a look at that under a microscope. I left behind important research for this job. I'm sick of just standing around.
They gave us a run for our money for a second.
I used to love New Atlantis. Not so much these days.
He was a biologist, like me. Guess it's genetic. He died when he was 12, after an experiment of his went wrong.
That seems great.
I'm sure he thinks that's what he was doing, but he's also the one who ordered the bombing of the Londinian spaceport during their outbreak, condemning countless lives. Not a day goes by where I don't think about what the world would look like with them still in it. Maybe he is trying to do something good for once.
Weapon repairs are done!
I can't believe you kept my father a secret. Some of the containment chambers were a bit on the unpleasant side, but the facility staff made short work of that.
I mean, it's remarkable how similar Jemison's ecosystem is to Earth's.
Best damn news I've had all day. But Tao said he's too young to have one. Yet here it is.
Weapons fully functional, Captain.
The very type of thing they put the emergency access rules in place for. If that's what you think is best. We'll be ready if you need backup. You'd said it was Reginald Orlays who was responsible for the attacks? Something wrong? So getting him back, that'd be a huge break. Is he on his way here too? Okay. Do it, Kaiser.
The heat leeches are terramorphs. That's how they must spread. Heat leeches, they hide in the ships and then they must
grow into morphs. Though normally you only see that sort of thing in older specimens.
Terramorphs only appear decades, even centuries after humans have settled on a new planet.
Something we could aerosolize. Let's spread and have it deal with the terramorphs for us. We've both got our assignments. I guess I should get a move on. Good luck out there, Captain. Pity things had to end like this. I won't lie. Being in Aquila City unsettles me a bit. You two have any experience with terramorphs before?
More of them! Clean them up!
Yes. Yes, ma'am. I'd be honored. Heart of UC Xeno warfare. A practice that's been banned ever since the armistice went into effect almost 20 years ago, and we were dismissed from the UC military. You need some time? Really needed that. Thanks, Captain. Mm-hmm. Military Model A. Customized them myself for when the Xenoweapons team needed to make field runs. Part combat bot, part lab facility. But the connection breaks if you kill the morph. So, if we find anyone enthralled out there, first thing we need to do is kill its master. All right. Look, it's still not funny. Well, I've just spent a lot of my life in pursuit of the truth. So, you bringing it straight to me, it just means a lot. Whatever you can turn up is more than we have now. Look, Captain, Percival and I, we need to get these samples back to the lab. Ensure we'll be able to handle cleaning up the leeches as well as the terramorphs. I'm sure they did. They invested so much in him over the years. Even grew him an entire family he didn't want. So with the data out of the way, we've been discussing where exactly this work's getting done. Secure the leadership of the UC military for generations to come. Something up? But I wouldn't be upset if you came by the HQ every now and then. Remind me how much I owe you. The data that's in the archives, it's historical write-ups, anatomical notation, food chain analyses. You can't expect to just drop a bomb like that, but I am grateful to be here. Leaving the TMD behind was the right decision. I hate to admit it, but you and Percival were right. What do you want? We need to talk to the cabinet. Terramorph didn't get you, huh? That's good to know. Because this one, well, it's an anomaly. A worrying one. Oh, I am well aware. In particular because it leaves some big questions unanswered. Now we just need our terramorph cells and we can blow this icebox. Percival, ready for another scan? That old bag of bones? What's there to miss about him? Our first day working together, he said there was no way a kid could keep up with him in the lab. I had him eating his words by the end of my first week. Considering what the Lazarus plant is capable of, I don't think we can deal with those things fast enough. There's no way a plant this rare just shows up on New Atlantis and Tau Ceti. Someone transported it there. Which can only mean... I took one out! It's hard to know. Unlike my father, the cabinet aren't butchers. But killing UC citizens, along with everything else he's done, is unforgivable. Let's get this over with. Just lead the terramorph into the fray and watch the fireworks. What can I do? We both need to be armed. This might go badly. Acknowledged and accepted, I guess. Thanks, Captain. We think we can bring back the Asyles and then use them to find and clean up the terramorphs. No, just pre-mission jitters. Probably haven't shaken Tau Ceti and New Atlantis out of my system totally. I'll be fine. Vanguard. UC Navy? Well, that'll do. But do you think you could do some snooping around? See if you can turn up any information on who might have committed the attacks. Our weapons could use some repairing! Abeo first. Then we can chat. He really said that? But I can't. Is that something you really want? Oh, that old line. Yeah, I'm not buying it. You were selfish. Finish with Percival. Then we can discuss. Kaiser's got them in cold storage. If this is what I think it is, we can still save those guards. So we all came to the conclusion the best place to do this research was where it was made. The Red Devil's headquarters on Mars. Whatever it was must have run off. So what do you say? Go with me to New Atlantis and address the cabinet? Some of the containment chambers were a bit on the, unpleasant side. But the Model A's made short work of that. Everything the Freestar Collective and UC could muster, ground troops, xenoweapons, mechs, was hurled into the fray. A pair of upstanding UC citizens named William and Astrid. They taught me what family was, and how to use the strength I was given to serve those around me. But it can't justify slaughter. It's the older model. All right, let's see what you can do. Running basic diagnostics? Nothing. Maybe a flag scan? No. Spectrograph. Damn! They're gone! Duck and cover! I could have never guessed where all this was going to lead. Track him down. Get him to take a look at that sample, and I'll join you on Mars. But for the wanton murder of civilians, I doubt anything's off the table. Should let you keep tabs on how close the terramorph is. But it's powered down. The switch is on the floor above you. Throw that, and we should be in business. Target down! Nice work, Captain.
I'm not too proud. Thank you for saving my ass.
Yeah, the deputy was just telling me we're going to be having visitors as we work. I'm sure they'll be lovely house guests. That old robot's been out there for a long time, so I guarantee he's gonna need some repairs. And for that, we need a corpse. Actually, that problem's already been dealt with. But I'm still curious. How did Orlays, of all people, find out about the Lazarus plant? But most of the rest were deployed to the front lines during the Colony War, and they never came back. You waiting for something? Just give those samples to Kaiser. Captain! Admin access is centralized to the terminal in this room. Nothing's coming back online if I'm not here. I was hoping to stretch my legs. Maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe it's not as dire as it seems. What's going through your head right now? Captain, what you did back at Mast? Standing by to assist in combat. Hey, your call what you share and what you don't. My God. Look at it. Lazarus in bloom. You know, we might be some of the only... Let's move. You know, to become a Red Devil, you have to do hard labor in the mines of Mars. And when you're down there, the only people you can trust are your fellow miners. They require highly specific materials to test against. Hey, before we headed in, I wanted to mention what you said earlier about my father. I just really appreciate you telling me. I'm sure he did. But he killed dozens of people, and I'm not about to let him get away with something like that. That's exactly right. Let's move. The settled systems are counting on us. Something's moving out there. I've already got the kill lane set up on my end. Once they've got juice, just lead the morph to one of them, and they'll hit it with everything they've got. Make sure his future schemes and machinations stay in his cell with him. Unlike my father, the cabinet aren't butchers. They'll give him the punishment he's earned. I haven't spent much time in New Atlantis since the end of the war. Jemison must have seemed like a miracle to the early settlers from Earth. He said he'd be willing to give his clearance, contingent on the cabinet agreeing to see us. What are you doing? EM fire, Captain! My father. Everything I do, he's right there. So if we're gonna find what we need anywhere, it's there. You were doing what you were ordered to do. Yeah, I do understand that, Captain. The enemy ship's down a weapon! Thank you again for getting this drop-off done. I really hope it wasn't too much trouble in the end. That's spectacular. I hope it ultimately didn't end up being too much trouble. But what if we could let something else do the work for us? Come on. I'll walk you through what we're thinking. Good. Now just stash that sample with Kaiser and we're done. No. Why would you be? But I need a tissue sample from that creature's corpse, and I am in no shape to get it on my own, with both of us. You're the only other person in the settled systems who knows the gravity of what we're facing. But before I go begging you for more help, I want to make sure you understand what I'm asking here. Percival and I have done our damage. This is us starting to put some things right. Something I'd love to learn more about, if we had the people to look into it. As you can see, nice to see the place hasn't fallen apart without me. They turned on each other. That sounds like pheromonic projection. It's a type of mental control. Usually only see it in older terramorphs, though. You can even show them this. My gene tag. Tell them Hadrian Sanon thinks there could be another Londinian on the horizon. They should recognize the name. I need some... help! Over here! Now, it's possible to get things out of there, but only with the agreement of members from all three factions. Nowhere in the galaxy would be safe. There's no need to be afraid of this data being weaponized.
The sample. Did you find it? You look like you found the terramorph. Is there something I can do?
Something you still wanted to discuss?
Excellent. I was sure it was my father.
Hey, you're not done, right? Now, where exactly did my father say you could find our friend? I really appreciate you telling me the truth about, well, I'd be more useful out in the field. My heart stopped when you first said it. That he was still alive. That I might have to see him again.
Asylees. They're impressive hunters. The few tests we've been able to run, well, they more than got the job done.
Saw the thing myself. Real and disconcerting.
Londinian could very well be where the Terramorph saga began. And the key to its end. We freed them, and they're calling in reinforcements.
I'm happy to help you carry some things, Captain.
He was my younger brother. We only met once, but we exchanged letters for years. He studied at the UC Science Academy.
And that we still did. Commander Tuala? Already dealt with. Spoke to him when I was dropping off my data.
That's not an unfair assessment. But what we're doing now, I'm really trying to set some things right here.
One Asylees could track a morph halfway across a continent.
Percival, you see any better option?
There were 5 of us.
But I'm the only one left alive. I was the closest with my brother Trajan. Losing him during the war devastated me.
What's up? Damn. There they go.
But I guess I should get back to it. Good luck out there, Captain.
It's in the archives.
Well, getting those turrets powered back up seems like the best course of action.
And, just don't listen to what the voices tell you.
Yes, Captain.
You were sworn to—
Frankly, it shouldn't be here. They normally only appear on planets where humans have been living for decades, even centuries. I'm getting there. Clear it with your commander first if you have to. Don't go quiet on me now. But for these terramorphs to already be that mature, we're facing something altogether different here. This isn't going to be as simple as our fight on Talsetti. Perfect timing. We just got in.
Go ahead.
Me neither. It'd take knowledge, time, skill.
That hit took out one of their weapons.
Was my job to know all the nasty critters of the universe for a while, terramorphs included. But that was a different time. I think we're putting those people in danger. But if that's how you want to proceed, convinced now we need to do something?
I managed to scope out a fair bit of the facility before it found me. If there are any survivors of the attack, they're long gone.
My father. How did you find him? I'm curious about things again. I'm happy to get up in the morning. I'm enjoying the books I read and exploring new places. You're not hearing voices, right?
If this is actually what it sounds like, we're gonna need to be real careful down at the spaceport. What we just saw, it must be some kind of alternate growth method. One that winnows 70 years of maturation into seconds. It's incredible.
I patched myself in through a terminal on the roof. So, as soon as that security connection's reset, I can start getting things back online.
Must have changed up how the ceremony works. I just raised my hand and said, sure, I'm in. But yes, I was military. Not anymore, but I've still got some friends in the colony, so if I'm lucky, maybe whoever sent you is one that still likes me.
So do you think you could do it? Please?
And I know I can never escape the Sanon legacy. His and mine.
There might be some useful salvage left out there. Have a good one.
Don't mess with me!
But there's no sense in hammering down those sorts of details before we've made a decision on which route we're taking.
You brought me along to lend a hand. Let me help carry some of that. If you pick a fight with one, or you're a terramorph, sure. But Asylees were already spread across the galaxy once before during the Colony War.
I tracked down a record of her last assignment in Freestar space and went to her last known location, but I couldn't find her there.
Stop that! I'll be here. My God, look at it. A Lazarus in bloom.
I never thought I'd—
Trust me. We are not
alone out here.
Execution? No. There's enough death in the galaxy as is.
In his twisted mind, it made sense. These soldiers for the galaxy.
I'm just not sure it's really their style. When House Faroon kills people, they usually like to make sure everyone knows it was them. Still with us? And I know I've done more than my share of harm. But part of the reason I asked you to join me, it was so they wouldn't just be picturing him up there the whole time. Of course. Captain! Over here!
We are going to see you around the HQ, right? The TMD's not going real far without its founders. But even if that weren't the case, I'd likely be more of a liability out there than a help right now.
And the things he did, well, they're a part of the reason the UC and Freestar Collective aren't really on great terms to this day. Captain, something up? All right, in the lock to the city. Percival, where are we heading? I'll maintain this position.
So be careful out there, Captain. And I'll make sure we're ready to put things in motion as soon as you're done.
No, the Asylees are the way forward. We deploy them, we're cleaning up the threat using a method nature's already perfected.
That seems awfully implausible.
Well, ma'am, it seems your report is incorrect. Francois Sanon was responsible for the attacks. I'm sorry to hear that. Those sorts of missions are always tough.
I hope that thing's well calibrated.
Oh, and take some time to restock, refuel once you arrive. No telling what the cabinet's going to ask of us once we get their sign-off. Something we could aerosolize, release into the atmosphere of a planet, and let it deal with the terramorphs for us.
People have been making dragons out of unfamiliar species as long as there's been people. But the Asylees are a known quantity. We don't need to fear them.
Well, if it weren't for you, I might have never learned the truth.
You're still in one piece. Look, the sensors, I didn't realize they'd... I'm sorry I put you more in harm's way. Now, there's something I can do for you?
The Battle of Nera. I wasn't there, but my soldiers were. We suffered heavy losses.
No telling how long the cabinet's gonna keep us waiting out here.
Well, I can handle this!
One guess what she's going to ask us. Need to stay sharp.
That's gonna leave a mark.
Oh, and if you find yourself in hot water at any point, come back to this building. It didn't follow me when I limped in here. I don't think it'd follow you.
Our weapons need repairing, Captain!
The cabinet's the UC's highest governing body. The president, top military brass, scientific and diplomatic division heads.
Indeed.
But they've already been spread far and wide once before when the UC was raising them as livestock, so the risk of introducing them to new worlds is minimal.
Why? Did he say why he did it?
Which means relocation to Londinian could be a real option here. You thought some more about collecting Kaiser? As much as it pains me to say, I think it's probably the right move.
Take your time. We don't want to miss anything.
Looks just like the processing plant where we met on Tau Ceti, Captain. Hopefully terramorphs won't bother us in this place either. Well, would you look at that. Kaiser. Will those do the job? Attacked civilian ships during the colony war.
It's been an honor, Captain.
Why do you ask?
What do we have here?
But this leech, it absorbed something from the Lazarus plant and matured instantly. I'll stay right here. Add to that a toxic atmosphere and the general lawlessness that comes with any Freestar world, and that planet's got more than enough ways to make a visit your last. They Victus. Could he have been involved in the attack on New Atlantis?
Look, I never could have predicted where this was going. But without you, I might have never learned the truth of this whole thing.
This one? Showing up here at a young colony? It means that plague is accelerating.
I was close with everyone in the Xenobio unit, but Percival and I have a special bond. Even if he is a huge pain in the ass.
Wait. Kaiser. Did you find Kaiser?
I'm aiming for non-vitals! Honestly, right now, I wouldn't mind a little distraction.
The tissue sample you collected on Tau Ceti. It seems it's a match for the only sample recovered from Londinian. A world wiped out by terramorphs.
This one, though, shows none of that aging. It's like it just came out of nowhere. Fully formed. Just like the ones that destroyed Londinian.
Steam tunnels it is.
There's a place called the Sixth Circle in Sidonia. Bar run by some old friends. I'll meet you and Percival there. Need my help?
Now please go check in with your commander.
Life in the galaxy may well depend on it.
Makes some sense, actually. I honestly was just wondering the same thing. He would have happily told you he was one of the greats. Ultimately, though, it didn't matter. Same mistake the UC made. Ignoring all the red flags. You're back already? You did it, didn't you? You just flatlined a terramorph? They were a significant part of my studies at one point. They attacked their own? When people find out who I am, it usually makes things complicated. So what we're proposing is putting things back the way they were. Come on, I want you to see it in person.
That's not funny. Seriously, how'd you find them?
A non-trivial amount of gene editing. I can't imagine the amount of work it took to deploy the Lazarus plant off-world. Strange to go to all that trouble and not state your reasons.
And life as we know it is in danger. I see. It would have been good to be able to question him, but I've been in those situations. I'm sorry you had to go through it. So, will you accompany me to New Atlantis? I already dropped off the data I collected on Tau Ceti. That should be enough to at least pique their interest.
Made it look easy. Great job. Now grab a tissue sample and get up here. The kill lanes. They're set up but need power. There's breakers on each of the buildings you can throw to get them live. Focus on the morph!
Tracker's gone quiet. I suspect it's either hiding or...
We'll have a problem if you do that again.
It moved. Hasn't left the spaceport, has it?
So the problem we're up against is vast. Terramorphs, they can be anywhere, meaning us finding and disposing of them ourselves isn't an option.
But I don't see a better option to solving what's going on here. So it's gonna be up to us to get them on board. We freed them, and they're helping us!
I didn't sleep for weeks after I found out.
I'll give you what I can. You certainly deserve it. Forewarning, though, I'm not exactly New Atlantis royalty.
Now, the UC has a small operating base on Londinian's outskirts.
All right. Now we can figure out if this is as bad as it seems.
But listen, I know I should have been more forthcoming about who I was earlier.
But you need to know, Londinian, it's a war zone.
The result of the projection, though, can vary wildly. Some folks just shrug it off. Others hallucinate. Now please, go do what you have to get that sample in the right hands. Life in the galaxy may depend on it. Yep. One-of-a-kind salvage. Licensed to an Angelo Alonso. Goes by Gel. That my past is less of a closed book than I thought it was.
It certainly does. Dealing with ambassadors? I think I'd rather fight more terramorphs.
The UC, Freestar, and House Varun. They made a lot of decisions about what sort of tactics should and shouldn't be permitted in future conflicts.
He can't be permitted to act again. To kill again.
Let's do this! I really appreciate you saying that. It's not something that I'm exactly proud of.
Let's do this somewhere more private.
No,
Not even an iota. And this is definitely not the time.
it's nice to see the place up and running again. There's something on the horizon, that's for sure. We just need to not let that distract us from the work at hand. It means a lot to know I've got people I can count on. Thank you, Captain. Can I help with something?
I don't believe they are.
They spotted us!
It was the central hub for Asili's processing during the Colony War.
Looks just like the processing plant where we met on Tau Ceti, Captain. Wonder if it's got any info on where our sample might be hiding.
This information, then, about the research team and Kaiser. I'm presuming that all came from my father? HQ's looking good, huh? I'm proud of what we're doing here.
It was sadness and anger for a long time after that. But these days, it's more of a numbness when I think about it at all.
What? Make it quick.
It seems possible. If anyone else in the galaxy would know about this phenomenon, it'd be the colonies.
Now, all that aside, there is another option for removing the terramorphs from our worlds. It's faster, more efficient, but riskier. I think you've got other things you need to deal with. Shield systems down!
All these leeches. What's keeping you things warm?
That Vivictus is still alive. I refuse to let that man define my entire life. Not anymore.
Sounds like a plan.
Organic resources like this are more useful than people give them credit for.
Why I got all the training I did. Why I got to head the xeno warfare team at such a young age. The UC wanted another brilliant Sanon commander.
He killed those people to keep them from sharing what they might have seen. Condemned this whole city to death. He's...
We just need more information. I'll leave it up to you. If you decide you want to track Kaiser down, come back and I'll get you squared away.
I'll get back to work.
We'll see you on Mars.
So where's Kaiser? Some can even dominate the minds of weaker species, keeping them as pets, livestock, or toys. When it counts, he'll do the right thing. Eventually.
Victus is alive, which means he could have been involved in the attacks.
Heat leeches hide out in ships, sneak away after landing, and then, with time, they transform.
I've always wondered how anyone survived here before the walls were erected.
I was searching for something to live for other than my work, but nothing really stuck. Until I heard about the terramorphs on Tau Ceti. Old habits die hard. They knocked out our weapon!
You handled yourself well back there.
Yeah, I think so too.
I wouldn't expect any. But who knows? Maybe you'll get lucky and turn up some leads.
Control terminal for that system's back in the security outpost. If it were me, I'd get that online immediately.
Reinstate me.
So am I. I'd forgotten how much I liked working in the field.
Guess I really do mean that little to the old man. It was a hazard we dealt with when we were researching them, but if you stay sharp, check your sight lines before you fire, you should be fine. Checking in on us again?
Anyone got ideas where we could get some extra juice?
It's fine. I can wait. The enemy's completed weapon repairs.
Rather not wander around blind down there.
Oh, do I know that feeling. He's actually really alive? My God.
That's one down.
Take care of yourself out there.
Captain, let Kaiser take a look at that sample. He was a troubling and troubled man.
So, you happen to grab a tissue sample from that terramorph for me?
Captain, don't look too worse for wear, all right? I'll wait for your next order there.
Get out of here. Everyone loves a war story, don't they?
Plenty of space in my pack if you need to unload some things.
Sure, but there are plenty of ways to do it. Why the Lazarus plant?
Leave me alone.
Ultimately, the UC had to abandon the city. And a lot of people with it.
All our data suggests so.
70 to 100 years after the initial colonization, they just appear. But no one knows how or why. Dangerous, but predictable.
Now, Londinian's on Ptolemy 2. UC has a small operating base on the planet's surface. We've got a lot to do before we speak to the cabinet. Let's talk at mast.
My father. Our Asili's population's already tracking ahead of expectations. Terramorphs aren't going to know what hit them.
That's exactly what I would have done.
Don't mention it. Just glad we were able to help keep things from getting any worse.
Well, Captain, I suppose this is where we go our separate ways. Good luck out there.
Of course.
It's going to take coordination inside the UC and out, but I think it can be done.
Appreciate the heads up. Can't believe what we just witnessed. You can even show them this. My gene tag. Tell them Hadrian Sanon is worried there could be more attacks on the horizon. They should recognize the name. Where do you need me?
Victus? You said it was Orlays.
But if these attacks were triggered somehow, who would have the motive to do it? If this doesn't convince the cabinet to proceed with our request, I don't know what will.
We've run the basics by them, yes. And it sounds like they're willing to commit the resources an endeavor of this size is going to require.
But if the plant was used to trigger the attacks, could Victus have been involved in the massacre on New Atlantis?
Yeah. I think I've had my fill of family drama for the moment.
They're also shockingly adaptable. The data suggests they're able to thrive just about anywhere, and we plan to selectively breed them so they can hunt terramorphs wherever they're hiding.
And made sure to leave a trail of bodies in his wake.
Can you imagine living on this tiny fishing platform your whole life?
I honestly don't know. If it were me, I'd make damn sure he never spoke to another human being again. But I may be a bit less than impartial. Exactly. To access the archives, we need to get the UC, Freestar Collective, and House Varun to all agree to help. I guess you're right. I always imagined that future would be here at the TMD. But, well, maybe a change of scenery wouldn't be so bad.
Look, with that thing on the move, my advice, Avoid direct engagement.
Thanks, Captain. I wish I'd had the chance to get to know them better. Wherever they are, I hope they're resting peacefully.
Have something for me?
Those samples are going to be safest with Kaiser. Is there any chance you might be willing to deliver this sample for me? Have someone confirm if it's as bad as I suspect?
Be safe out here without me. No. Not after all this time. There aren't any bridges left between us. As far as I'm concerned, that man's dead.
Getting Kaiser back? That turns dozens of methods for dealing with the terramorphs down to, well, a much more manageable number.
No one's ever found out how they follow us, and those appearances, they took time. Means woe to the defeated in Old Earth Latin.
Bye, Captain.
He was executed for acts he committed during the war. The man caused a lot of death. On both sides. After all, it could be my last chance. A calculated loss. These soldiers for the rest of the galaxy. That sounds exactly like what my father would do. My greatest hope? Since when are you a philosopher? The Red Devils were a family. And losing family is never easy. I still think about the soldiers who never came home.
Shit, it's got him! Focus on the morph! It dies, they're freed!
Something we could aerosolize, let spread, and have it clean up anything with terramorph DNA for us, which would include morphs, and we expect their transmission method.
A plant this rare showing up unbidden on 2 different UC planets. I think it's more than just possible that human hands were involved here.
You knocked out one of their weapons! But Tau Ceti's newly colonized, 25 years max.
It means human settlements throughout the galaxy could be at risk. Terramorphs have taken down far bigger colonies than this one.
I usually try to keep a low profile in Freestar Collective cities.
Plus, I don't think you're gonna have to push real hard to get folks on board with cleaning up one of the galaxy's greatest pests if this is what they're capable of. Even if this wasn't where they came from, looks like they'll have no problem making themselves at home. So if Orlais is our man, where is he? Did you manage to bring him in?
The president of the United Colonies, Alexandra Abello, chief engineer Upsana Kulkarni, chief diplomat Solomon Yassin, Admiral Pasquale Logan, and Security Chief Jeremiah Sarkin.
Fire in the hole!
Strange. To go to all that trouble and not state your reasons.
Sorry, I'm not a mind reader. You know I'm not. And I'm not talking about my family with you anymore.
Morphs! Open fire!
But in the interim, do you think you could look into what we uncovered? See if you can turn up any information on who might have committed the attacks?
Good. Let's get out of here before this thing decides it wants to go another round.
But, and this part's exciting, the terramorph data suggests Aseles were first found there. The planet it's on, Toliman 2, was their homeworld. He didn't raise me, so finding out didn't make a big impact. It wasn't until his trial after the Colony War that it hit home, whose blood is in my veins.
Not a bad place to start. You remember those terramorph eaters we were talking about? The Aseles? Given the proper dispersal tools, a few pilots could land on a world and clear the whole thing.
You're right. The kill lanes. They should be online.
Ve Victus? He's alive.
Ah, wonderful. Thank you.
And there are still a couple species that have been able to survive alongside the morphs, but otherwise, they've got free reign.
Until you've been down there, it's hard to fathom how expansive the mines are. You see Vanguard? Well, that'll do. But I'm not one of the settlers. But wait, you think you might be willing to lend me a hand?
Oh, you're a mean one!
Then it really hit home whose blood was in my veins.
He killed those people to keep them from sharing what they might have seen. Condemned them all to death. He's...
If we're in need of organic materials, this is the place to find them.
It's a 5-member panel. Look, someone clearly knows about the plant and realized what ends it could be put towards. Nope, not even an iota. We've got work to do, all right?
You just walked right through it to get here.
Courier handed me a slate. Guess someone had picked up a strange signal on a flyby. Thought I might want to check it out. It's a disconcerting experience, but it's not an insurmountable one.
So I don't care if Ve Victus is alive or dead. He can rot for all I care. We're the ones who are making the settled systems and the UC better.
All right. On our way into the city. Percival, where are we heading?
The enemy's lost a weapon!
So what we're proposing is to remove the terramorphs from our worlds and give them one of their own. And we think we've got just the spot. Londinian. We'll tell the cabinet, and they'll ensure Ve Victus never does anything like this again. Captain, still no word from the cabinet. Anything you wanted to discuss in the interim? That bad, huh? Well, I'd like to say yes, but we're not going to know where we're heading until the next scan.
This is nothing!
I'm still a little perplexed. How the hell did Orlais manage to find the Lazarus plant?
So what do you say? Will you talk to whoever sent you here about delivering this sample for me?
The cabinet can secure the Lazarus plant, and then we're not risking any surprises when it comes to dealing with a microbe.
All right. Then let's not keep them waiting.
No, we have to tell them.
I'm as shocked as you are. I mean, I had to, right? It could be my last chance.
Oh,
Well, that means a lot. It's not something I'm exactly proud of.
that trust made it to the battlefield, too. We had each other's backs every step of the way. I wouldn't trade a single one of them for anything in the universe.
If this sample is what I think it is, then it could mean more terramorph attacks, just like the one here, from a creature we don't even know how to find.
But people have only been on Tau Ceti for 25 years? Less? And yet just outside those walls stalks one of the most dangerous predators man has met.
Because if tragedies like Tau Ceti are just prelude to more attacks, I have no doubt you'll get the body count you require. Exactly. Bring justice to everyone he's hurt.
Hell, one PhD candidate suggested their long gestation was them storing up to make grav jumps, all by themselves.
No, I'm not. There were 5 of us. Trajan, Nerva, Antonius, Auralia, and me. As far as I know, though, I'm the only one left alive.
No. No, that can't be. I saw him.
Time to show off those piloting skills. You swore. You were just doing your duty. I know. I know what that's like. I'm glad you told me. At long last. Tau Ceti, though, it's too young to have a terramorph population. This place has only been settled 20 years? Something just doesn't add up.
You! Move quickly, quietly up to the 2nd floor of the main building. The one with the big Tau sign. Your life may depend on it.
So long as he's on a planet with some modicum of civilization, you should be able to cobble together most of what he might need.
Sure, Captain.
A perfect specimen for a world like this. Capable of hibernating for generations at a stretch. Why do you know that, Kaiser? It's the building in the middle of the facility. The terminal in there should allow you to grant me access to the system as a whole.
I can't see it!
Give it hell, Vanguard.
If there is a chance that could happen again, the UC needs to know.
Now, there is another option for removing the terramorphs from our worlds. It's faster, maybe even more efficient, but riskier.
I'd be happy to share some of the samples I collect. Check back anytime. I might have something for you. We met when I was 19. The UC assigned him to be the co-head of my xenowarfare unit.
Not helping the beat-up lady out of the goodness of your heart, huh?
Plant's turrets took a beating, but I should be able to get you a couple of kill lanes.
Now look, I know you didn't come here to help a stranger kill a terramorph.
It'd still take time to build, test, and distribute, but no other method could hold a candle to it when it comes to sheer efficiency. Not even the Asylees.
I believe you being there as an independent witness could help sway the more intransigent members.
Terramorphs are too mean, too smart, too hungry to be used in combat. Trust us, we tried.
And the ones that refuse to listen to me? But now I guess we've got our answer. Nothing left to do but put it all in front of the cabinet.
It's just pre-mission jitters. You hear about a place for so long, it maybe gets bigger in your head than it should be.
Londinian. That's exactly what I was afraid of.
That's a good point.
An accusation this consequential needs evidence to back it up, not just conjecture. Until next time,
You did it, didn't you? You put down that terramorph.
there's risk.
Sound right to you? Head out and collect the extra manifests?
Lights out! Now all we need's a tissue sample from that thing.
What? No, that's impossible. He was executed. I saw it myself.
It's dangerous, yes. But Kaiser, Percival, and I, we've trained for this. And you're not so green yourself. Good. Once I see the connection reset, I'll get things underway on my end. It looks like the TMD's been getting along fine without me.
Then life as we know it is in danger. Not hard to get surprised if we're not careful out there.
There could be valuable minerals under the soil. You and I, we're getting to change what the UC stands for.
Older terramorphs are able to manipulate the minds of other creatures. Can make it hard to tell who's friend and who's foe.
Wait. You did it, didn't you? Heavens above. You just flatlined a terramorph.
As to why our terramorph data's in there, well, I plan to get to that.
One of the nastiest aliens humanity's ever crossed paths with. And this one, well, it's something of an anomaly. Possibly a worrying one.
We need to be prepared for anything.
Not in a million years.
Another attack, just as we're making our request, it's insane.
Well, there is another option. It'd be faster, maybe even more effective. But it's got its own risks.
Freestar Collective and UC. Military and civilians.
What was so important that they had to keep him alive?
I've heard neon streets are crime-ridden. We should keep an eye on our pockets. I doubt they'll trouble us anymore.
Let's go put that EM weapon to good use.
You only usually see that with older terramorphs, which makes this even more troubling.
What is it?
Or maybe it's a sign of something worse. Entire cities have been wiped out by terramorphs.
Plenty of people out there with grudges against the UC. But he's the only one we know had any knowledge of the Lazarus plant.
Let's see what they're made of.
That's fine. Come back whenever you're ready. So, would you be willing to talk to Victus? It's the only thread we've got to pull.
But even knowing they did, knowing that they kept him alive all this time, you know what I feel right now?
That's a hit.
Sure. I have plenty of stories. This one won't make you squirm, I promise.
It also makes my father the only solid lead we've got on the attacks.
No, I need you to tell me more.
Once they're online, lead the terramorph towards the lights and watch the fireworks.
If you said my father was still alive and using terramorphs as weapons, I might think it's time for a psych eval.
The Red Devils were my purpose. I felt lost without them. I spent a lot of time wandering the galaxy by myself, searching for something new to live for. Are you messing with me?
As livestock.
Any negotiations with the Freestar Collective or House Faroon would run through his office.
This time?
There are also some sensors scattered around the facility that I didn't recognize.
Carrying that many things will only slow us down.
So, when you check in with your commander, will you ask them for permission to deliver this sample for me?
I hope the local creatures aren't too hostile.
There's no way a plant this rare, this fragile, just shows up here, New Atlantis, and Tau Ceti. The transformations on those worlds, they must have been triggered by human hands.
Enemy weapons online again.
You heard that recording. I was. Long time ago. Family tradition. But I know some of the folks from my old unit moved into the Vanguard. A couple even owe me favors. If I'm lucky, your commander is one of them.
UC and Freestar. Military and civilians. Do you need something else?
Precisely.
Shoot to disable! Fire!
Agreed.
That doesn't sound good. Eyes peeled.
Thank you, Commander. But I think I remember a place where you can start your search.
My entire unit, they threw us all to the wolves, but kept him? And now he's what? An advisor? Commanding the fleet in secret?
Kaiser, get us into the spaceport. Pheromonic projection.
Grenade deployed!
Percival, map have a better option?
Luckily, both Microbe or Aceles should be able to help us get a handle on the issue.
Whatever was out there, it's moved on. I understand why you did what you did. And I guess I guess I forgive you.
I saw myself staying at the TMD for the long haul. But if life's taught me one thing, it's that plans don't always work out.
Hello. Those sensors I mentioned? Part of a system these settlers built to track their livestock. Wish I'd found this sooner.
Should let them know we're here to help.
You can even show them this. My gene tag. Prove we're working together. I expect they'll recognize the name.
The microbe's been way above expected efficacy in our trials. These terramorphs aren't going to know what hit them.
We could even design it to simply sterilize the terramorphs, halt the spread without the killing.
I built my whole life around my service to the UC. It was my purpose. It almost felt like my life ended when the war did.
Just go down, will ya?
I'm not going any further without my spacesuit. You shouldn't either.
Miracle worker is more like it. Wait. He's the reason you've been gone for so long, isn't he? He gave you this information, found Kaiser. Did he say how he tracked them down?
Hi. Hello. Anything? The UC assigned them to be my guardians when I was born. But we grew to love each other like any other family.
Now, officer.
The risks should be manageable, but they won't be non-existent.
Really special. There's no better feeling than finding somewhere to belong. That's what the Red Devils were to me. A family to fight beside.
I'm requesting reassignment, Captain.
Initially, we didn't think so either. But the Terramorph data changed our thinking.
They look dangerous, but they're actually quite gentle. When I visited their homeworld, I followed a herd of them for days without any problems.
Admin access is centralized to this building, so I need to stay here to get the system running as soon as the connection's live again. But at the very least, I should be able to give you covering fire from the roof.
What? That creature. It's dominated. Must be a morph nearby, keeping it under its sway. Let's put it down!
Hopefully that control board's still kicking. Time was I could access some of the best data on terramorphs in the galaxy. But now... Well, I think I know where we can find the next best thing. Unfortunately, we are not. Yes. Yes, ma'am. That's no trouble at all. And the Aseles seem like they're even better at tracking leeches than morphs. Our thoughts exactly. An invisible weapon.
Add to that general environmental devastation and the kind of lawlessness that comes with any Freestar world, and that planet's got more than enough ways to make a visit your last. No, but I am willing to try and make them a place we can be proud of. The UC that kept my father alive, that threw me out, those people aren't in charge anymore. Better hope Chasm Bass never goes extinct. There'd be riots in the streets.
We think we found a way to do it.
He was actually the one who told me about the Red Devils. Man, he was so jealous when I joined up. He always talked about following me one day. But there's no way I'm getting these defenses live on my own. And I have to get to the bottom of what happened here.
But you need to know, Londinian, it belongs to the terramorphs.
Delays could mean lives here, Captain.
No.
Additionally, it explains why once the Aseles were gone, the outbreak there was so catastrophic.
Then we can see about getting things back online.
And just getting the UC alone on board is going to be hard enough.
Why wouldn't you tell me?
I'm not exactly thrilled to find out you've been keeping something like this from me. But like Percival said, at least we can do something about it now.
I know we're asking a lot here, but is it clear what we're trying to do?
They might not want to, but the stakes are different here, Percival.
All right, back online.
So you're gonna keep me guessing? You an unlucky tourist, or did the universe really send me that shock trooper like I've been asking?
The kill lanes. They're set up but need power. There's breakers on each of the buildings you can throw to get them live.
We just found out how terramorphs move between planets.
Biomes like this have always fascinated me.
Don't talk to me.
And I'm worried a lot more people could end up like these settlers if I don't get it.
That old robot's been MIA for a while, so chances are he's gonna need some repairs. Oh, we blew past weird a long, long time ago. But don't worry, I'll keep it professional.
Need a hand with something? Never wished I'd been more wrong about a theory.
But this Lazarus plant, it speeds up that process. Mature terramorphs. In an instant.
Percival, Kaiser's got the cell data from the New Atlantis and Tau Ceti attacks, right?
It's a secure facility housing, well, Information and research that was banned after the colony war ended 20 years ago.
The hell'd you get to now?
Who could pull something like this off? And why? Data that, if it didn't have the Red Devil's logo stamped on it, probably never would have been archived in the first place.
How?
I need to know how he knew. All right, back at it. Damn, they were just here.
The ship can't take another hit like that.
I'm fine, ma'am. We've been having similar debates ourselves. There's only one place we know that has the materials we need to make these plans happen. Londinian. I'm glad you were on my side back there. Certainly doesn't mean it's going to be easy. But we're not going to know until Percival and I dig in, so whenever you're ready. I don't think we'll find much worth taking around here.
Not now, okay?
Haven't brought the joke to your homeworld just yet, huh? Normally, though, that maturation takes decades, even centuries. But Tau said he's newly colonized. I'm not about to let him control my future. And thanks to what we've done together, that future is brighter than it has been in a long time.
Get the weapons primed. We can't let them catch us off guard.
Oh, Captain, I'm sorry. I won't pry any further. Of course, it's a big ask. You do what you have to. We're not going anywhere without you. Unlike my father, I have the capacity to forgive. I'm willing to move past this. I've spent more nights than I can count sleeping under rocks and in trees while I was conducting research. But if you're that concerned about him, we can always request they be lenient in their sentencing, even if he doesn't remotely deserve it. I'd like to think they'd be able to see beyond that, given the gravity of the situation, but I'm not willing to just count on hope.
Lights out on that one!
Hello. I wish I'd found this earlier. Those sensors around the facility? Part of a livestock tracking system. We just need to get the cabinet to see this for the threat it is. Well, look, thank you for telling me. It's not the worst news you could have given me, but it's damn close. But this information... So, did you find anything on who actually did it? It was the central hub for Asili's processing during the colony war. To confirm my suspicions about this thing, I need to examine a sample of its tissue.
Oh, I'll be sure to keep that in mind next time I learn one of your dark family secrets.
Hey, Victus. He destroyed this place. Killed these people to keep what he knew about the Lazarus plan and the terramorphs and all this a secret. Didn't he? Both sides agreed the settled systems would be better without him. These creatures, they have been a slow-moving plague, haunting human-settled worlds for generations. All right, now hand those over to Kaiser, and let's get out of here. But attacking their own city just to acquire data from the archives? I can't believe the UC could be that cruel. Sure. I'd rather not see them again either. A few lucky shots were all that saved my life the first time.
No time to waste, Captain! Boots in the dirt!
You're welcome. I just wanted to make sure you knew all the hurdles we're about to face. Time for another EVA walk, huh? I'm ready if you are.
Damn it! There go our shields!
You kill the morph. You break the hold. But this means we're gonna need to be real careful with our fire. I was worried we'd scared you off. But Percival and I, we weren't just researchers. Together, we ran a UC Xenowarfare division. The Asilis we'll have to look into. But given what we know about the creatures, I wouldn't be shocked to find that they've got an appetite for both. Captain, I'm right behind you. Let's get down there. Any leads on who might have committed the attacks? Please. You have to tell me more, and make sure you leave enough of that thing for us to get a sample.
Got eyes on it!
They're far less of a danger than the one we're proposing to clean up.
Got one!
Glad to have you on board. He knew. He knew about the Lazarus plant.
With either path, though, we're looking at a long-term commitment. Years of work. Even just getting these plans off the ground is going to take time.
Just glad things didn't turn out worse. All right.
Oh, yeah. Taken care of. No big deal.
It's been nice to dust off my old field collecting skills. I haven't done this kind of thing in a long time. This is for you. Helping found the TMD is the best thing I've ever done. It's given me a new purpose. And I'm proud of what we've accomplished so far. That's what I was afraid of. Can't believe we let them escape.
My father. Come on, that's not funny.
Captain. Surprised to find out we're having visitors as we work. But don't worry. If the terramorph starts getting in your head, just
focus. Make sure what you're aiming at is an alien, not a person. We'll come out fine.
You'll injure yourself carrying all those heavy supplies. Glad we made it out of there in one piece.
So I guess there's nothing else to do but get this all in front of the cabinet. Unless there were other things we needed to discuss.
The dust at those depths, it seeps into everything. The human eye included. Where the name Red Devils came from in the first place.
Well, thank you. It's nice knowing I've got people in my corner. But if he's been out there on his own all this time, you're gonna need something.
Until we can build one that does cleanup too, we're going to have to take the biological route.
Keep ourselves from flying blind as we figure out exactly what's going on here and how to fix it. So in a way, we're likely just returning them home.
If that's possible.
There were also some sensors scattered around the facility that I didn't recognize.
You gotta be kidding me. You've known all along? And decided now was the time to bring it up?
I saw myself at the TMD for the long haul, but if Percival already okayed this, then I'm in.
Since the outbreak, Londinians belonged to the Terramorphs. Aren't you supposed to be somewhere?
Or sharpen our microbes' tracking skills.
You thought some more about collecting Kaiser? It's hard to believe Victus is doing this for the right reasons. But I think it'd be worth the risk.
Trust me, you don't want to be breathing that air. We'd be better off in our suits.
Then I guess it's just a matter of... I've only seen one other tissue sample like this. From Londinian. The world Terramorphs destroyed. Is Londinian getting to you? Don't let it. It's just nerves.
Sure.
I think this is the answer we've been looking for.
Victus? My father, what are you...
The scope's just over here. There's the control panel. Still looks operable, too.
That's some impressive sleuthing. I can hardly believe it. But if he was involved, we've got a lot of work ahead of us.
Of course. Vanguard have other commitments, but when you're done with those, I'd owe you big if you could get this to my man.
But the Thralls, they're attacking the anomaly. Percival, are you doing this?
I wouldn't be shocked to find out our team, in part, inspired the approach. But our group never dealt with something that could have an effect like this.
If he's found some nefarious angle in helping stop Terramorph attacks, I'm not seeing it. All right. Moment of truth, then. I spotted a microscope downstairs. I need a closer look at this.
So on our end, good news. The microbe and the Aceles are both as effective against heat leeches as they are against Terramorphs. He could cover our back in the field, then house all the specimens we'd collect while we're out there. You saw what I saw. These things are capable of dominating minds.
I'll watch your six, Captain. You're back. So what did you want to discuss?
I can't believe it.
What are your orders? So what Kaiser's doing there of all places, I can only guess at.
Okay, maybe not the best comparison, but I want to make sure you've got an idea what we're in for. Take care of yourself. No telling who might be involved. Lou, can we borrow your back room?
Aquila City's the galaxy's best testament to human resilience, if you ask me.
Yes, but Terramorphs, they're an invasive species. They follow humans across the galaxy, but no one knows exactly how.
Here it comes!
Hey, that could hurt someone!
So, you ready to head in there?
Hey, up here. Either I got hit harder than I thought, or you have got some incredible timing. It was set up post-colony war to house research both sides agreed should be banned.
I barely knew what to live for once the war was over.
Heat leeches. They're Terramorphs. Those little pests hide in ships. Let us transport them all over the known galaxy and grow into Terramorphs. We just discovered how they get between planets.
Luckily, I think I know just the person to help with the sample. One that makes a heat leech into a walking tank. Now please tell me that's what you just saw too.
We're not getting our data out of the Armistice archives without the UC cabinet's help. And first, they want to talk to us. Both of us. It's the only known loss of that scale, but it's the reason why any change in our relationship with these creatures needs to be taken very seriously.
Here's hoping you turn up some answers. You get the sample? Let Kaiser take a look.
Either I got hit harder than I thought, or you've got some incredible timing.
As to why our terramorph data's in there, well, I plan to get to that.
Well, apparently not. I can't believe this. This can't be possible. If he didn't die that day, then what the hell happened to him?
You've got nothing to apologize for.
Get behind me!
Kaiser lets us do field work with a level of precision that there's really no other way to accomplish. It would be the more efficient option.
If I hadn't seen you use it myself, I'd never believe that power was real.
Harvested to extinction.
You do the same.
Nerva died when I was 3, and I've never been able to find Auralia. But Antonius and I were close, and Trajan... It's not like that. You need to be here. You're the only other eyewitness. What you say up there matters. You're right. You've earned it at this point.
So yes, we're good. Mostly.
I think I have.
It's a hard thing to admit, but no amount of grief can erase the choices I've made. I'll always have regrets, but I know I can't change the past.
Need me to lend a hand?
We were just in the right place at the right time.
These attacks, they were planned. I have some room in my bag if you need a hand. There are probably some fascinating plants in this area.
This way.
After some early fits and starts at other facilities, the place eventually became the heart of UC xenowarfare.
Little problems left unchecked become big problems. And we fix big problems here, not make them.
Those sound like our samples, all right. But part of the container ID's been corrupted.
I'm worried about the hazard warnings I'm getting around here.
These creatures, they've been a slow-moving plague, haunting human-settled worlds for generations.
Us collecting these extra manifests is probably the surest way we find this sample, unless you think differently. I'm in no state to make an effective stand against that thing. But you bring it near the building. I can make sure it knows I'm still kicking.
It's all so opulent. Almost makes you forget this is a glorified fishing platform.
Meaning it's probably safer if we try putting the morphs down ourselves. No backup.
Well, they're not exactly buying tickets and flying coach.
Besides, Percival will never let me forget it if I turn down field work in favor of a desk job.
Let's get moving. Even if I kind of wish you hadn't. And here, it's not exactly a bounty, but you certainly deserve them. Should cover the cost to fuel to Mars, at least.
Now, my father just handing over the information on the research team and Kaiser out of the clear blue, I can't say I trust it. It couldn't have been just luck that it happened right when we were asking the cabinet to do something about the terramorphs.
You swore.
Captain, my father doesn't deserve your protection. Like, for example, if this terramorph's cells have certain radiation or chemical exposures, it could point to it having been transported on a ship.
That's it! Now hit him with everything you've got!
Gives Percival and I some time to get reacquainted with the documentation anyway.
That seems like a good idea.
I didn't think the cabinet would be willing to hear us out either, but I called in some favors. They've agreed to hear us out on 2 conditions.
And there's a clear way we can find out if he's telling the truth. Track down Kaiser.
I'll try and appreciate the effort. Then let's get this show on the road.
Sounds like our cue. Unless you're planning to change your mind here like you did with the cabinet. Terramorph growth cycles are unique. No one's ever seen a baby terramorph, but somehow they've followed humanity across the galaxy. Okay, I'm not exactly sure what to make of this. Terramorphs don't just appear on newly colonized planets like this one.
Our damage has been done for a long time.
One more! Enemies right on top of us! Nice work. Now help us take these out.
I used to scout places like this for aliens all the time.
What's wrong?
I do it myself, but I need to call in some favors. See if I can't get access to that terramorph data.
What he means to say is, thank you, ma'am.
Can't be cultivated anywhere but Londinian. A real marvel. How long's the cabinet gonna keep us waiting?
That'd be nice, but I'm not about to hold my breath.
I'm the last. Some are even capable of playing with the minds of other species, using them as pets. Or toys. Heat leeches are terramorphs. That's how they must spread. Heat leeches, they're an invasive species, right? They hitch rides on human vessels, land, and grow into morphs. I hope to see you there. I am a clone of a man named Francois Sanon, one-time fleet admiral of the UC during the Colony War, former head of the UC Navy.
Clear from here.
And here, it's not a lot, but you've definitely earned it. Should cover the cost of fuel to Mars, at least. No, we were both dismissed after the war for what we did. These days, we're just concerned citizens with a very particular area of expertise.
That's where they've put all the research our team did on the Terramorphs. But the archives can only be opened in cases of dire emergency. Oh, and now might be a good time to restock if you haven't already. If things go the way I hope, the cabinet will likely want us on a solution immediately.
This area's hazardous. Let's get out of here.
It'd be a good idea to leave this area.
Well, clearly, I didn't understand exactly who I was dealing with. And I'm not about to let Percival have all the fun. But I do appreciate the sentiment.
Please let me help carry some of that, Captain.
Getting him back from wherever he may be will make our outside work a whole hell of a lot easier. Roger, loud and clear.
Where the hell is that stun gun?
Captain, I truly don't. He's already shown he's taken an interest in you. I'll be a lot more useful in the lab right now than I would be grilling Francois.
All right. I'm game.
Inclined that way myself. He told you, huh? Figures.
I don't think we're done here.
Always thought they looked a little more avian myself, but they put the Terramorphs to shame when it comes to charm.
I certainly do know what kind of a burden that can be.
Now, the precise nature of what's on the horizon, I don't claim to know. But one settlement has already been wiped out.
Not a lot of samples made it off the planet from that time. But the ones that did, well, I think they looked just like this one.
Me neither. You'd have to know this all exists, first and foremost.
We've been having similar debates ourselves. But the captain has yet to weigh in.
Pretty major is right. But if what we just saw, if that's possible...
Yeah, maybe.
I have to admit, that trip to Londinian whetted my appetite for field work.
Not doing this one out of the goodness of your heart, huh? The admin terminal's here in this building, but it needs its connection reset. And as I found out, that's not a one-person job.
That's a tough call. I've seen most of the creatures in the settled systems, and there are plenty of strange ones.
We'll all meet back at Mast, outside the cabinet chambers. They're gonna want to know everything we've uncovered here.
We should collect all the resources we can from this thing.
From what I saw, each building's got a couple breakers on it. Throw them, and it should get the turrets firing. It should. You risked life and limb to earn it, Captain. You're the reason we're all here right now. You're the person I think can help us finish it. Will you join us on this?
There's toxins in the atmosphere. We're going to need our suits.
It means there's a threat to every human-colonized planet in the galaxy. One that has to be stopped.
That's right. You would need that. Whoever gave you these leads sure knew their stuff.
That's a kill! The shields need immediate repair!
You can free the controlled by killing the morph, but we're gonna have to be extra cautious out there.
I wonder if there are others with that power out there somewhere. That they release microscopic eggs that are drawn to the heat of the ships. That their nymphs are capable of a next-level sort of camouflage.
And enemy's weapons offline!
Hello?
There's the control panel. Still looks operable. Of all the things to survive.
What went down out there? But attacking their own city to... what? Acquire some data from the archives? I don't believe the UC's capable of something that cruel. At least, not anymore.
See you. Right. Settled systems are counting on us.
Maybe. But Ecliptic couldn't take on the whole UC military. Why would they pick a fight like that?
Because of the outbreak way back during the Colony War. They've already got free run of the place.
Oh, and if things get too hot out there, book it back to this building.
It doesn't enter this place. Not sure why, but it's likely the only reason I'm still upright.
Understood.
We've got our orders. Let's move. I've got your back.
But the microscopic world has a tendency to behave in ways you can't always predict. So to say there's zero risk would be a lie.
You know, I was thinking, while we were up on that podium,
If I wanted to try and see him again. Well, they've got a grudge, certainly, but wantonly killing UC citizens using terramorphs? I'm not sure I buy that. Well, it just means a lot to me that you told me, even when you didn't have to.
Alive. They Victus is alive? How did you find him?
I know, and we believe the Aciles can get us there. But, well, there is another option that we think might be able to handle that too.
Which means I'll have to leave delivering the sample to you. Please.
The Colony War saw a lot of hard fighting, but Nera got it the worst. I'll give you what I can. You certainly deserve it. Forewarning, though, I'm not exactly New Atlantis royalty.
Watch it. There are civilians around.
Older model, but it'll do. I get this loaded up. Okay. Still as ugly at the micro level as they are at the macro level.
Talk to you soon.
Look out!
No argument here.
Heat leeches. They're one of the most successful pests in the known universe. I don't like this. We could be walking into a trap. Oh, they certainly picked an expert, didn't they?
So if we're gonna find what we need anywhere, it's there.
I need Dr. Percival Walker to put together a sample analysis for this thing. Full workup. He'll know what that means.
We've already made a lot of progress getting this place back online.
No, it's not that. You just caught me by surprise. I figured I'd be at the TMD for the long haul.
Yeah, I expect you do. Maybe we can make this work.
Kaiser! He'll be able to encode safeguards against mutation in the agent's genetics so that they stick to the task of cleaning up terramorphs. I'll watch your back.
The number of lives this might save.
It's going to mean negotiations and deals and plenty of diplomatic legwork to see this through.
Now's not the time to joke like that, all right?
That's what I saw too.
Saw it with our own eyes. Now take care of yourself out there. Percival's already started the process of getting things back up and running. So that's where you and I will be heading. Or Lay's.
Percival assures me that they're minimal.
Here we go.
One of the most memorable was an insect-like predator I encountered on a remote planet in the Moloch system.
I understand. Well, the security outpost's in the middle of the facility. Whenever you're ready, you can head right there. If I knew I'd just be standing around, I might not have taken this job. But it is real good to have you here again. We've been going through the terramorph data and, well, we're gonna need all the help we can get.
Wait, Sergeant. Your people turned on each other. Did this happen when they got close to the terramorph?
So, let's get back to the business at hand. I am more than happy to oblige.
So you know where he is. That's amazing.
I never thought I'd miss the dusty air down in the mines, but I do.
Certainly. This is for you.
I would remind the chief diplomat who he's speaking to. If it's my father you're looking to address, you're welcome to consult a medium.
No, that's insane. He died. They executed him. I saw it. Are you not even willing to try and get the information needed to protect the rest from attack?
That's what it sounded like.
It's not a plant in sight. This would be a tough place to survive.
And even if he wasn't directly involved, I guarantee he knows something. So I don't care if Faye Victus is alive or dead. He can rot for all I care. What we're setting right now, that belongs to us. And that is truly what matters.
Which is important, because we did some cross-referencing in the terramorph data. On worlds where Aciles were present, terramorphs weren't.
I'm gonna go check in with Chief Engineer Kulkarni, start getting a plan together for that data.
This city's full of Freestar Rangers. Watch my back, will you?
And Kaiser, maybe you can go relock those doors we opened, just as a precaution. We'll collect you once we're done.
I would also ask, how many deaths the cabinet requires to act? 50? 50,000? And there's no one he's in contact with that could help him on the outside? He got a hold of you, didn't he? Biomes like this usually can't support life. But when the UC ran low on synthetic foods during the Colony War, the Aciles were chosen to fill in the gaps.
Damn! Lost it!
Should let you keep tabs on how close the terramorph is. But it's not connected to this network. There should be a terminal in the adjoining room. Tune it to 183.5.
Lou said we could use the back.
If you get affected, you just need to stay sharp. Verify your target before firing. And you should be fine.
Where do you need my help, Captain?
It's appreciated, Sergeant, but we can take it from here.
Good news. Thanks.
The project never got off the ground, but the data our team gathered is now sitting in the archives, along with all the other information banned after the colony war.
Do you really need all of those supplies?
Soon as we're done with Kaiser, we'll meet you there. But it takes dozens of years for that first terramorph to appear, and you can see the wear on their cells.
Come on. I'm fine, ma'am. We're similarly split.
And if it afflicts you, we'll try to work through it. Just focus. Check what you're aiming at is alien, not human, and you'll make it through.
All quiet out there.
We're out of the woods. That was the last of them.
Wait, the research team. Kaiser just showing up out of the blue like that? He's the one who found them. I can't say I'm not shocked. But I guess I would have, thought he might have reached out to me somehow.
I understand. Well, the security outpost's in the middle of the facility. Whenever you're ready, you can head right there. I'll keep an eye out for access.
I don't understand the hatred for Sidonia. Even most UC citizens dislike it.
But I guess we're not getting any more answers right now. Come on, let's go get that last sample. What is it? Got a target?
Best of luck, Captain. And thank you for dealing with him. Gathering your thoughts, huh? There's something on the horizon, that's for sure. We just need to not let that distract us from the work at hand. Captain, we need to get these samples back to the lab and verify we'll be able to handle cleaning up the leeches as well as the terramorphs.
No. That's insane. He died. They executed him. And everything you told the cabinet about Orlais, about the attacks in New Atlantis, that was all lies, wasn't it? They just damaged our weapon!
Best of luck, Captain. I suspect you're going to need it.
What? You think I buy my drinks full of dust just anywhere? I come to the best. Hey, can we use your back room? I'll coordinate putting the data to good use with the cabinet. We'll be ready to move as soon as you've got it.
Of course. You change your mind, we can talk.
Okay, maybe not the best comparison, but I want to make sure you've got an idea what we're in for. But it's clear someone knows about the plant and realized what ends it could be put towards. That seems useful.
This time.
Between their historical presence and the Terramorph's current one, there's no better place in the settled systems for us to find what we're looking for.
Hey, Captain.
Oh, it's really not that daunting.
Yeah, real lucky. We shouldn't be breathing this air. Let's get our suits on. Letting a population of sterilized heat leeches stick around may be a hard sell, knowing what we know now. I just thought you should know about Bay Victus, my father, before we got up there. There's a non-zero chance the cabinet brings him up.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry. I'm just only now learning about my father being involved in the attacks.
Now, you bring me that tissue sample? That is a possibility. If anyone else in the galaxy would know about this phenomenon, it'd be the colonies. There must be something useful around here.
Any idea why he might have done it?
What we're proposing is bringing them back.
You can even show them this. My gene tag. Tell them Hadrian Sanon thinks there could be more attacks on the horizon. Maybe we'll get lucky and they'll recognize the name.
The Thralls! They're not coming after us. I guess we should grab that sample while we can. What the hell is that? Is that the sample?
Can do.
Grenade!
I'm only gonna say this once. Leave me alone.
Should we... No. Let them go. This area is hazardous. I think it'd be best to turn around.
No chance we'd get anything if it was me going. Having an extra xenosociologist around on this assignment sure couldn't hurt. We'll be dealing with plenty of hostile creatures. But if there's anyone who'll be able to tell us definitively if that sample is trouble or not, it's him. That I don't have an answer for right now.
I lose you there?
Good. Sorry doesn't bring these people back. A crisis isn't licensed to cast aside your morals. Understand?
Exactly. I have. As much as someone can come to terms with being a war criminal's clone anyway. I can't change it, so why dwell on it?
There's someone else who needs to see what we found here. If he thinks it's as bad as I do, well, he can help us figure out how to protect ourselves.
So plan is, Percival will scan for samples from here while we head out into the field to collect them.
But Victus, for all his ability, was heartless. Ruthless to a fault. In the end, that's what cost him his life. Maybe in his twisted mind that made sense. I mean, I'm no angel myself. But it would be nice to be able to live out of his shadow. We're ready when you are.
I'm honestly not sure what his endgame might be. Involving himself in preventing terramorph attacks after all the damage he's done? Something doesn't add up. Matches what we saw happen earlier. These terramorphs, it seems they're capable of a type of mental control.
Grenade out!
That's some impressive work. We share a genome, and people have used that fact against me my entire life. But I am not Victus.
Thank you for that. He decided to sentence his own soldiers to death. What kind of commander is that?
Hostile ship ahead!
But I'll never say no to a visit when you're in the area. Remind us all how much we owe you.
But that old world, where I was no one and my father mattered, that's gone. The Lazarus plant. It's clearly an accelerant for the terramorph, a heat leach transformation process. Make one into the other in an instant. It's been a while since I visited New Atlantis. Nice to be back. I'm right behind you. Perfect. We'll find a good use for this.
I steer clear of Freestar Collective cities in general. Too many memories.
But he reached out to you, right? How do we know he doesn't have other contacts, too? Anything else we needed to discuss?
Oh, good. Thank you.
Eyes peeled, but it still cuts deep. I need some time to think about this. Good thing, too. I don't think one of those things would have come quietly.
Oh, sheesh. No wonder no one's found him.
Neither do I.
That's fine by me. I'm plenty busy here, and I don't know if I'm ready to leave Mars yet. Good luck out there. Stay safe.
Wherever humans colonize, 80 to 100 years later, terramorphs. Invasive, dangerous, but predictable.
A microbe.
Or lays. That's not what we discussed. Now, because of their long growth cycle, no one's ever been able to prove it. What if someone set this whole thing up?
That's exactly what it sounds like. Someone saw the Lazarus plant in action and used it to trigger the attacks.
I can't. Oh, hold on.
I'm gonna go get this work up into the cabinet's hands. I'll meet you out front of Mast in New Atlantis.
Think you can take me?
Let's find that rifle.
A microbe.
What is... Is that the sample? Shoot to disable! We need it alive!
Under the watchful eye of monitors from all the galactic factions still participating in regular politics.
I get it. And I get that you've already gone above and beyond here for me. But I really need your help.
I'm sure we can find a use for this.
I already sent along info to the cabinet to get them up to speed.
I appreciate it.
That sound! What is that?
So he fed you bullshit. Not surprising. What a coincidence. I'm not sure I like your decision-making.
Fine. I'll try not to let the overtures of kindness go to my head.
Now, where were we? Ah, right.
The way those people were acting. I've seen this before. They were under the Terramorph's influence, weren't they?
Things are good. It's nice to see the place cleaned up again. Brings back a lot of old memories.
They'll have anti-Xeno gear for us at the base, but I'd make sure you've got your favorite arms on hand.
Guess we're done talking?
Clone, honestly, isn't even really the right term for our relationship, thanks to the amount of donor material that was required to bring me into this world.
Captain, he needs to know. Lou, here. Kaiser schematics. Actuators, weapons, batteries.
The captain's right. New Atlantis owes you all a debt of gratitude.
The enemy destroyed one of our weapons!
Fine with me.
My colleague and I have experience with these creatures. More people would either hurt themselves or us.
Both sides hoped something would decisively turn the tide, but it never did.
Their weapons back online!
Sentimental's pushing it. This seemed useful, that's all.
So, did you turn up anything on the attacks? Any idea who might have been involved?
I think so.
Yeah. No, I don't believe he is. I'd love for you to be right. And it is just one piece of data. But we can't be the people who saw a warning sign and ignored it.
We should head back. Whatever's out here, it's more dangerous than us. Using a method that thousands of years of adaptation have already perfected. Suit yourself.
And the situation we were in back on Tau Ceti,
In that moment, we sure as hell didn't need any added complications.
Plus, we'd send handlers with them, just to make sure there's no issues with the local populace.
Roger that.
Hand-customized military Model A. Part lab facility, part combat bot.
It's amazing to me that Aquila's arid climate allows for any farms at all. Need something out of my pack?
You're welcome to have this.
It's a disconcerting experience, but it's not an insurmountable one.
And I'm sure he'd rather not go around asking favors when he doesn't have to.
I'm inclined to agree. That option seems far-fetched.
But the vast majority of humanity lives in just a couple systems. Target those worlds first, and humankind's in the clear. I'd rather know the truth, you know?
Those people! It didn't have to go down like this.
It's not me you need to be talking to right now.
Walk in the park, right?
Decides to use the plant against the people that destroyed his old life. I can see that.
Well, thinking about it more, I suspect there'd be value in sharing the fact that the Terramorph project was, well, a failure. Yes, I do. Go ahead.
Well, that's still not 100%. But it sounds like the Vanguard will actually be picking up a fair bit of it. Well, we've got an independent witness. They just might.
Anything could happen in there. We need to be ready.
Kaiser, see if you can't find another way to get it open.
We do. Means woe to the defeated in Old Earth Latin. A title he earned.
Ready for a fight? Getting Kaiser back, that gives us more than a few new paths forward on dealing with the Terramorphs.
You might want to avoid mentioning you're with the UC on Nera. I wouldn't expect Mr. Alonso and his crew to be fans.
This has been a productive visit to HQ, but I'm ready to get back out in the field. Hostiles down!
We shouldn't keep the cabinet waiting.
He killed those people. Condemned this city to keep them from sharing what they might have seen. He was a... Was this... This was a massacre.
President wants us. You doing okay?
This is going to require some extra assistance, Captain.
I need to get this data into the hands of the cabinet anyway. Once you've made up your mind, you can find me out front of Mast on New Atlantis.
Looking for some backup?
Sure was. All the xenobiology experience in the galaxy won't protect you against something like that. Not without the right gear.
I'm glad you told me about, well, you know. I'd rather know than not.
So if there's any chance this could be a sign of things to come, if attacks are somehow accelerating...
Kaiser, can you extract the sample without killing it? So I'd like to know why the hell he said he'd help us.
I used to. There's a lot of blood on my hands. Right after the war ended, I felt like the galaxy would have been better off without me.
Bingo. Stay sharp and we'll be fine.
Trajan was my older brother. I knew him better than any of my other siblings. We went to the academy together, so we had a chance to get close. I'd like to stop by the Sixth Circle for a drink, if you don't mind.
If only the fire team had been so lucky.
Out of the question. If he's not dealt with, he could act again. Kill again. I'd just be honest about what you saw. A colony wiped out, and a lot of lives lost. Something we don't want anyone else to have to experience.
The Red Devil's headquarters on Mars, back where you found Percival, seemed the natural spot. Already has the equipment, the safety measures. I've never seen a Terramorph this old. This must predate the outbreak. Well, Terramorphs only show up on worlds where humanity's had a long presence.
I mean, they certainly have plenty to be disgruntled about.
Hand-customized military Model A. Part lab facility, part combat bot.
You have? I mean, it's old technology. Neon's always bustling. Seems like a tiring place to live. Exactly. Someone saw the Lazarus plant in action and used it to trigger the attacks.
And if you're in trouble, remember, you're safe at home base. You can do this. Go.
Which means we're either looking at a truly strange murder or a faster type of Terramorph growth, the results of which could be catastrophic. The weapon's repaired!
Percival and I, we're not just researchers. Another reason why Londinian would be a good home for the Terramorphs. Since it's where the Aciles came from, it stands to reason it's where the Morphs did too. More than a few of the options we're looking into. Detectors to uncover the Terramorph transmission method, or crafting a targeted biological agent. Well, don't leave me in suspense. My theory is the Terramorph found whatever chemicals they used here,
or animals they butchered weren't to its liking.
You're not wrong. I'm not sure how the cabinet's going to react to all this.
Yeah, I really didn't know what to do with myself once it was over.
Was my job to know all the nasty critters of the universe for a while. Terramorphs included. I don't do it professionally anymore, though.
I suppose you're right. Better to know. If you can get to the security outpost and grant me remote access, I can try and get things back online, see if there aren't any other tools the settlers left for us.
With his plan found out, he's going to be desperate. And if he was capable of mass slaughter before, well, I hate to think what he might try if left unchecked. Not where everyone can hear.
Their weapons suffered heavy damage!
But 99% of humankind lives in just a few systems. We sweep those worlds first, and humanity's in the clear. Or so we thought. In the data, the research team found the location of a breeding pair.
We're in agreement?
Come on. That's not funny.
Which probably wouldn't be a bad point for us to bring up, should the opportunity arise.
So then,
The place looks pretty good.
in the face of a killer plague, you work with the allies you've got.
I'd love to meet the person who taught you to do that.
We're needed down at the spaceport.
Careful out there. I'm not watching your back anymore. Which will probably be to your benefit.
Good work! That was the last of them.
That is the best way of dealing with him.
Thank you. Just be careful out there. So your help means a lot more than I figured you might realize.
Oh, this looks like a rich ecosystem. I wonder what lives out there.
I've never seen something like that before. I'm ready to get moving. I won't let you down, Captain.
Only the captain has yet to weigh in. Then we need to figure out what's going on here and how we can keep things from getting worse. Fast. And that's not something we can do on our own.
And if you're in trouble, remember you're safe at home base. Give it hell, Vanguard.
Meaning plenty of places for our sample to be hiding.
It can't. At least, I didn't think it could. But maybe if we're right about this, someone found a way.
Well, Kaiser's one of a kind. Special built for the sort of work we did. Dealing with unfriendly beasts in hostile environments.
And the ones that are, well, they're giving us a chance. It's up to us to do something with it. Now, what were we talking about? I have something for you, Captain.
And the timing of that one.
You'll send him along when you're done, Deputy?
No heroics, okay? You get in hot water, you come get us. We're going to bring them back, then use them to track down the Terramorphs. Convincing the cabinet to help us access our old Terramorph data is the best shot we've got at understanding what might have happened on Tau Ceti.
That's dangerous.
You just saw that, right? You would tell me if I was losing my mind.
Some Terramorphs, they can induce this fog. Stay sharp. As far as I'm concerned, this is enemy territory.
Good work! They never stood a chance.
The Terramorph project never went anywhere. It couldn't. They're deadly creatures, but they aren't xenoweapons.
They ran away. Percival, how big did you say this shipping yard was? Percival, you all set to hook into their comms tower?
You're there? In one piece. All right. I'll try to make this quick then. Let's see what we...
He is on a planet like that, right?
Given what we know now about the Lazarus plant, the speed of the job does matter. But going with the Asylees, we're at least dealing with known risks.
Not now. Come on. The cabinet's going to want our report.
All right, I'll do it. If Percival okayed it, then I'm on board. Can't let you rookies have all the fun, right?
The thralls, they're helping us. Percival, are you doing this?
But that wound's healed over some. I'm proud of what we've built at the TMD. It feels good to right some of my old wrongs.
Captain, that's the president of the colonies. Or we continue on like we were before this fun little revelation ever happened.
If the Lazarus plant can be used to induce Terramorph transformations, could someone have used that to trigger the attacks in New Atlantis?
Ah, so you see. And if they sent you way out here, 20 credits says you're Vanguard.
This equipment, it's not set up to do a proper analysis of our sample. But this Terramorph being here, of all places, it doesn't make sense.
But I guess we've got our answer now. Nothing left to do but head in and see what the cabinet thinks of it all.
Well, that was even easier than I expected.
Just glad we could rise to the occasion.
You won't get away this time!
What you said before, that's impossible. He's dead, right? Something I can do for you?
You can do this. Show it messed with the wrong shock trooper.
Now you're saying it, didn't even actually happen?
Unfortunately for us all, yes, it's true.
We should check in with the officer on duty. Come find me when you're done.
That's really not funny.
Explains why terramorphs take so long to appear on a newly colonized world. They're saving up for one hell of a metamorphosis.
We could get some useful resources off of that.
Roger that. We'll discuss when we're done.
Their weapons have been reactivated!
Suppose that makes us even then. Track him down, get him to verify that sample's as bad as I think it is, and I'll join you on Mars once I've taken care of things here.
You want to call it quits? We're not going to complain. So? What do you think you were doing back there? Those people did not have to die.
This is a dangerous assignment, but you all are here because you can handle it. Hopefully this isn't as concerning as it seems. Hey, just be careful out there. Even if the information is good, it doesn't mean we should trust the source.
It's not an easy decision to make, that's for sure.
All wrapped up. We should go tell the sergeant what happened.
It's dead, right? Did I mention how damn glad I am you dropped onto this rock?
So unless we find that transmission method and deal with it too, there's no way for us to know if we've done the job right or not. And that starts on Londinian. Come on. Airlock's this way.
But I'm not going to be able to figure out anything until you've granted me access to the system. Which means a trek to that outpost.
Because there's nothing we can do about past choices. What we can do is try and make the right ones now.
But you should thank those Vanguard buddies for us.
Found them!
I'm not going anywhere with you.
Then I guess we'll see you on Mars. We're on it, ma'am. Do what you have to. We'll be here.
I just thought you deserved to know.
But you don't need to worry about me. I'll be all right. Now, are we doing this or not?
It certainly does. He's really been out there. All this time.
Anything technical comes up, I can jump in.
The city itself grew fast, but it was short-lived. Place was only founded during the Colony War to keep up with all the UC's increased industrial needs.
Well, to be honest, no. I hadn't planned to tell you or anyone. Because it's not relevant.
Think the president takes priority here. Guess that makes this the processing plant the commander mentioned.
Captain, now's really not the time to be making cracks like that.
I do know the science. I also know math. And a 1 in a million chance of a mutation isn't 0.
At this point, the data's given us more options to explore than we have people to work on them.
The cabinet. They're going to have to help after they hear what happened.
One of the proudest days of my life.
With some clever science and the right raw materials, yes, I think we can. And we've got plans for both. Did my father know about all this? Here, let me take some of that. But I do appreciate the sentiment.
We'd be honored, ma'am.
Be a lot easier if you just hand it over.
If that's a joke, I'm not laughing. Any new orders for me?
This may only be the beginning.
But if we can convince the cabinet to help us access that data, it'll give us the tools we need to decipher what exactly this sample might mean. I think it's the right call.
Yes?
He saw the potential of the Lazarus plant as a weapon, and he condemned all these people.
He clearly knows me well enough to get that this job would make me happier than working at a desk. I'm grateful that he nudged me in the right direction.
Hand it over.
I'll keep this area safe.
They certainly were. But having this answer, well, it raises a couple big questions. The project never got off the ground, but the data our team gathered, the data that's now sitting in the archives, is that everything? And sterilization, that gets complicated. I doubt the cabinet's gonna be on board with letting anything capable of a transformation like that stick around. I don't appreciate that kind of joke, Captain. They were my family. Don't bring them up again. Terramorphs have a unique growth cycle. They're usually only found on worlds that have been long colonized by humanity.
Captain and I can scout it out.
He didn't raise me, and he's barely been involved in my life. I didn't even think that much about him until his trial after the Colony War.
No. I'm willing to try and make them better. The UC that kept my father alive, that threw me out, those people aren't in charge anymore. I wonder if we'll find any undiscovered species around here.
Just take care of what you've got to and get back here.
I don't believe she is.
We were good at it. Had a lot of successes. and did a lot of harm.
Undercutting me in front of the whole cabinet? Thanks for that.
Using them to clean up the terramorphs and leeches, though, it's not going to be nearly as expedient as the microbe would be. That man continues to make my life harder than it needs to be.
Did you hear that noise?
But it doesn't answer any of the big questions. These logs, they're even more thorough than I remembered. Genetic workups, population statistics, hell, even their food chain.
Whenever we needed to head out into the field, collect a new specimen, or gather materials, Kaiser let us do work no other unit was capable of.
I'm honored to be a part of it.
It's working! Her thralls are going down! That weapon needs repairs!
I just wanted to make sure you knew all the hurdles we're about to face.
A battle that he ultimately ended up losing anyway, devastating the UC fleet and bringing the colony war to an ugly end for the UC.
Nos belli machinis. Won't be able to use Kaiser's voice controls until he hears that phrase. So, where is Kaiser hiding out these days?
I was hoping to find a new purpose out there in the galaxy, but nothing really stuck. Until I got the message about the terramorphs on Tau Ceti.
I am glad you told me the truth. Eventually.
You're not so tough!
But in the data, the research team found the location of a few remaining specimens.
The military tried to hold them back, but this was in the heart of the colony war, so resources were too thin.
Hey! Over here!
We could speed up their breeding process using some of the same technologies that were used to create me.
I need to think about that.
Probably a long shot, but you didn't happen to grab one, did you?
They ran off.
Connection restored. I'll make this quick.
I'd love the chance to see an Ashta up close someday.
This is just hard to find out all at once. Because if tragedies like Tau Ceti and Londinian are just prelude to more attacks, I have no doubt you'll get the body count you require.
It'll be good to feel the Martian dirt under my boots again. Now, we've still got details to hammer out, but the biggest hurdle with this plan is finding all these terramorphs.
My gear's packed up. Let's go.
Good point. Deal with one monster at a time. Let's go get that final sample.
I can't blame you.
We'd explored the possibility, but the radar only finds the things for us.
Yeah, I think you might be out of luck trying to collect from them. But you helped me get off this rock alive. Yeah, I'm sure I can scrounge up something for you. Human-colonized planets go from minding their own business to having a 2-ton tank of carapace on their doorstep. One colony has already been wiped out. You okay? Vitals all still where they're supposed to be?
Plus, maybe just pop by a hospital for a little bit.
I'll check the ship for damages.
Their weapons fixed!
This might be an excellent spot for an outpost. Captain, Deputy told me what went down. Sounds like things got a bit messy. What's done is done, I suppose.
Am I being reassigned?
Can't believe it. I think we're being followed.
But Tau Ceti's newly colonized. Now maybe this one's just a weird mutant. Maybe someone set up an undocumented settlement here 100 years ago.
Materials documenting banned research, like xeno-warfare, were placed in a central archive.
Captain, up to you.
Never a dull moment.
Nice shot! You hit their weapon!
Of course. Any loss is hard. And an experience on a scale like this.
Safe travels.
You didn't happen to grab me a tissue sample, did you?
But we also need to get this sample properly analyzed. Get confirmation on just how concerned we should be.
Not a bad idea. Other manifests might be less corrupted. Get us a beat on our sample.
Most creatures couldn't adapt to living in this environment. You took it down. By yourself.
Maybe the universe sent me my shock trooper after all.
Why would you tell us it was Orlays?
We'll try it. Percival, you should unplug and find somewhere we can talk. Privately. Looks like we're alone out here.
You kill the morph, you break the hold. But this means we're gonna need to be real careful with our fire. And keep that EM weapon at the ready. Took hundreds of years for terramorphs to spread across the stars. We're gonna need to be a lot faster cleaning them up.
Shit. Stop. Stop whatever you're doing and get in cover. It's on the move. Trekker's gone quiet. I suspect it's either hiding or...
Everyone is affected differently. Some barely feel a thing. Some hear voices. Others think everyone around them is about to eat their children.
Still in decent shape. Of all the things to survive.
Back in business.
Where the hell did they run off to?
Both plans are going to take major investments in time and resources. We're talking years of work. and not to mention some highly specialized materials.
Oh, God. Captain! You're going to be okay! It's not real! Whatever you're experiencing right now, it's not real! We have to put down that morph!
But that means if anyone knew about this, they could trigger a terramorph spawning.
Captain, we looked at the options. At the scale we'll be operating at here, these two are among the only ones we think could work.
Enemies down!
Just wanted to make sure the important things got said. So I guess that gives us our final answer. Nothing left to do but head in and see what the cabinet thinks of it all.
Agreed. That seems like quite the stretch.
You and me both, Captain.
So any questions, concerns, anything at all giving you pause?
It's good to be back. I'm not anticipating a warm welcome.
See you, Captain.
How is that even possible? A few of my siblings, they passed when we were young. Training accidents and the like. Percival just can't help meddling, can he? I can't just pick up and leave the TMD. That's a huge decision. A lot of life gets recorded in our cells.
I really appreciate you saying that.
I just thought you deserved to know, considering how much you've done already.
Take all the time you need.
Because confronting him, what would I have gained from that? From letting him remind me I can never truly be rid of him? Nothing. It became an unwritten rite of passage that anyone wanting to enlist with the Devils had to do a stint in the mines before they could join up.
Weapon repairs complete.
Staying here probably isn't the best idea.
You're positive?
Thanks so much. I suppose that's a fair comparison. Except that this time, we'd be protecting human lives, not ending them.
Well, I'm glad you were able to get him to talk. Once the cabinet deals with him, he won't be hurting anyone.
Find some cover and take it down!
This environment seems hospitable enough to support life.
Neon and New Atlantis strike me as two sides of the same coin.
Anything you saw on Tau Ceti, or learned since then, could be the bit of information that convinces them to help us.
But all you can really do is answer their questions honestly. You're the one who killed the Terramorph. You're not somehow colluding with Percival and I.
Best idea we've got at the moment. We shouldn't go any further until we're properly equipped.
Wait, you don't mean...
Glad you're back in one piece. It's not in my nature to say no when someone asks for help. Especially not a friend. But we think we found a lead. One place in the known galaxy where we know we should be able to find all the materials we need.
Good. He deserves punishment for his crimes. If he's not dead, then I'm glad he's spending his life alone in the dark.
This might be our last opportunity to talk things through before the cabinet weighs in on a decision regarding the Terramorphs.
You two are sure about this? But if he's looking to help us now... Did he say why?
You can take this. I have more than enough. Thanks to what you and I have done, I have a place again. A purpose. But it's finally one I can be proud of. Ugh. Thank heavens that's over with. Our Xenoweapons group never dealt with anything like this, though they probably would have liked to. No, whoever found this, they likely never expected they'd get caught.
There's a place called the Sixth Circle in Sidonia, a bar run by some old friends. Once I'm all set, you can find me there. Both of you, follow me.
But if they share a genome, like most nymphs and adults do, the microbe should have no problem finding both heat leeches and terramorphs.
There is that. When it counts,
They'll do the right thing.
eventually. Well, that's about the best news I've had all day. But before you commit, I want to make sure you know the whole story.
Thank you for the offer. Really. It was unexpected, but I think this'll be for the best. Both for me and for the settled systems.
Then we can start reassembling our field team and come up with a defense.
We don't. UC Brass wanted us focusing on weaponizing the adults, not where those adults came from.
If there's even a chance Terramorphs could start instantly maturing like this one did, or like the ones that destroyed Londinian.
Everyone is affected differently. But for some, well, they'll make you believe everyone around you is trying to kill you, your family, children you don't even have.
Thank you again for taking care of this workup. I'll see it gets in the right hands. I wish I knew. Despite the difference in scale of the two attacks, The samples having the same markers, it's too big of a red flag to ignore.
So much blood.
My God, look at it. A Lazarus cluster in bloom. You know, we might be some of the only, and that's thanks to you.
Either he's there and Ve Victus is actually on our side.
The archives. It's a secure facility tasked with protecting research that was banned after the colony war ended.
So what do we got here? Too clean to be one of the settlers. Or a pirate. You see on patrol, maybe? Yeah, make my day if you said you were a shock trooper out for a stroll.
Oh, the captain? Yes, ma'am. Couldn't do this without them.
Probably a good approach. I'm sure the UC interrogators will be able to get to the bottom of it.
Well, my areas of expertise are pretty specific, but messed up families are up there. Yeah, we noticed. We've still got plenty to get through. Then it'll just be up to you and me to share what we found and convince them to back our request to unseal our Terramorph research.
Wait. You knew he was alive and didn't tell us?
That's my father he's addressing. He was here? Didn't think he'd have the guts to look those soldiers in the eye before blowing this place to pieces.
And you've known that, what, all this time? And decided now was the time to bring it up?
Hey, don't get bashful on me now.
I'm not suggesting. It's documented behavior.
Now, where exactly is the old machine?
Asilies aren't hostile to humans, but they are megafauna. If someone decides to pick a fight with one, it could get ugly.
Why would you keep something like that from me? I thought we respected each other more than that.
Well, I've just spent a lot of my life in pursuit of the truth. You telling me about Ve Victus, even when you didn't have to, it means a lot.
It's been an honor, Captain. Good luck out there. Any idea why he might have done it? Or what he was doing with the plant?
Let's keep this quick. Someone might recognize me.
Just the way things are sometimes.
Words can't do justice to how grateful I am for that.
You mean a dead man executed for war crimes lying? I certainly wouldn't put it past him. Which is why I'd like to know how he claims he tracked them down.
Geophagic creatures would be right at home in this area.
If you get affected, you just need to stay sharp, verify your target before firing, and you should be fine.
Doesn't mean I'm not mad. But I guess you letting us know late is preferable to never.
Oh, and if it finds you on your way out, come back to this building. It didn't follow me when I limped in here. I don't think it'll follow you. You all right in there? Captain, you're with me. Time to walk you through what we came up with. Helping protect the colonies like this, I'm sure it'll help advance your citizenship claim.
Nothing there?
Or if you've got any last-minute business to attend to, now might be a good time.
Huh, I see. Wish we could have questioned him. But, well, there's nothing we can do at this point. If the one we're dealing with here has evolved to do just that, well, our position at the top of the food chain might not be as secure as we imagine.
If my father's alive and knew about the Lazarus plant, what do you think the chances are he was involved in the attacks?
Ma'am, that report's incorrect. It was Ve Victus. He's responsible for the attacks. The captain got him to confess. Head over to the armory and gear up. Once you're done, we'll meet by the entrance to the city. We're going to ask for the cabinet's help to access our old research and try and find a way to prevent what happened there from happening anywhere else. Sounds like the cabinet's found the Tauceti data sufficiently concerning, so they're going to hear us out. Commander Hatum,
Keep your guard up. There could be hostiles on this ship. That's certainly not what I was expecting you'd have to go through. But thank you. I'm just glad you both came through intact.
Anyone got ideas where we could get some juice? I'll be fine. We're similarly split.
Look who it is.
That hit took out one of our weapons.
You'll send her along when you're done, Deputy?
The devils were always talked about in such revered tones during my training, so as soon as I was old enough, I signed up.
It became a Terramorph right before our eyes.
Look alive, Captain!
My God, look at you. You're an old man now.
We were military scientists, ran a division of the UC together that deployed aliens on the battlefield as weapons. He was our chief science officer.
Trajan was, and Nerva was training to be before he died. Antonius was a scientist, though. And Auralia, well, I'm not exactly sure.
That's all I'm asking. Killed those people because of a chip on his shoulder. That sounds like Vevictus.
I could have sworn I heard something.
It's a lot of work, certainly. Even with the kind of manpower the UC can muster, it'll take years. Oh. You already knew.
Regardless, I think it knows you're here. I'll unlock the door. Second floor, main building. But be quiet.
Terramorph cell lines we can breed quickly and consistently to test on. Seely's gene samples we can use to rebuild their bloodlines.
Be tricky nailing down our sample with just what's in there.
What did you just say?
It's only the captain who has yet to share.
Here! It's here!
If you really need backup out there, I'll watch your six. The second time I saw him in person was at his funeral. This isn't the time. Hold on now, don't put words in my mouth. I've never backed down from a challenge, and I'm not about to start.
It doesn't affect everyone the same, but for some, it makes the afflicting terramorph appear harmless, and everything else appear a threat. Kaiser, you want to do the honors?
We'll put this to good use. No aging, no chemical accumulation.
Opening fire!
In my expert opinion, that might be a byproduct of hunting them for sport.
I'm more shocked to find out it wasn't my father's doing. He was the only connection we had to the Lazarus plant. How'd Orlays come across it? I suppose it's possible, though I doubt anyone involved would tell him the truth either.
So what have we got here? Too clean to be one of the settlers. Or a pirate. UC on patrol, maybe? Make my day if you said you were a shock trooper out for a stroll.
Look, I wouldn't be asking if I thought there was any chance I could handle it by myself.
Excuse me?
Oh, you knew about that? I'm surprised you never brought it up before. Yeah, it's true. But I don't think of him as my father.
Look, I guess I'm not thrilled that you kept it from me for this long, but I suppose I can see past one moment of monumental boneheadedness.
Watched over by observers from the United Colonies, Freestar Collective, and House Varun.
You found our research team? That's incredible. That accelerates everything. With them back, it'll let us targets down.
It's good to know I have someone I can count on to tell me the hard truths. I know it's in here somewhere.
You'll regret this!
Oh, I know. But that's because I made it that way. I have done plenty that I'm not proud of. But I am atoning for those things. Every damn day.
You're really going to ask me for a favor right now?
I agree. The Red Devils did a lot of harm on the battlefield. But they were still my family. I never really got over losing them.
You can't be. You'll send them along when you're done, Deputy?
Look! It's working! The anomaly's connection is weakening. It's working!
We've only just scratched the surface of this archival data. I need to figure out how to read in my sleep.
Think there was more the commander wanted to discuss.
It takes some deeply twisted logic to think anything did more harm to the Sanon name than him. Those people, they didn't deserve that.
Weapons back online.
So while you'll absolutely want to be cautious, what would you think about trying to bring back Kaiser? We should be ready to defend ourselves. We may run into hostiles.
Destination's Lentinian on Ptolemy 2. We're meeting with Commander Hatum. So then give us the rundown. Where's Orlays now? Were you able to bring him in?
Regardless, you're gonna want to get up here fast. Second floor, main building. Because if that explosion didn't get the creature's attention, you will.
You won't talk me into that. But I think you, Captain, should get in contact with my father and find out what he might know about the attacks.
We're telling the cabinet.
Knowing that should calm some of the cabinet's fears and make it easier for us to dispel any suspicions the other factions might have about our intentions.
Why don't...
You should grab the slate. Then, let's talk.
Beginning shield repairs!
Doing that would be wrong, which would also explain why Londinian never had a substantial terramorph population. The Aseles were keeping them in check. Now please, go do what you have to do to get that sample in the right hands. We need to know what we're dealing with here.
I sure as hell hope so. Because someone's got a lot to answer for.
Yeah, I'll survive. But I hope you'll understand if I don't shake hands. One down, one to go. My father was a deeply troubled human being.
I was afraid you might have gotten reassigned. You've been gone so long. So how's it feel to be a citizen?
The other Red Devils were the closest thing I had to a real family. Serving with them was my purpose, and losing them devastated me.
Still no word from the cabinet. Anything you wanted to discuss in the interim?
We made quick work of them, huh?
The equipment will be able to get us a rough location of any acceptable samples in the scan area. It'll be up to you, Kaiser, and I to find the things.
The Aseles, that we'll have to look into. But given what we know about the creatures, I wouldn't be shocked to find they've got an appetite for both.
But the captain went to great lengths to have our sample verified as a match for the one from Londinion, a city the UC lost to terramorphs.
We even think that, with some time and investigation, we could use the Aseles' hunting skills to track down the terramorph transmission method at long last.
We'll take whatever help we can get.
But your people, they're heroes, and they'll be remembered for it. I'm sorry about that. It didn't seem relevant in the moment, and well, it's not something I'm exactly proud of.
My favorite topic.
Target eliminated.
Though, in the spirit of full disclosure, there is one more thing you ought to know before we head up there. I think someone figured out how to use the Lazarus plant to trigger terramorph attacks. We need to get down there ASAP.
Don't bring that trouble over here.
Look, I wouldn't engage directly if you can avoid it. Which, for two creatures as elusive as the Aseles and the terramorph, is no small task. There just aren't words for how grateful I am.
I'd like you to have this.
And here we go.
Let's go. We shouldn't ignore these hazard warnings.
Yeah, too many hazards for comfort around here, if you ask me.
That was a hard-won victory.
The terramorphs, though, were our great failure. Completely incapable of being deployed on the battlefield. Too smart, too mean, too hungry. It's a secure facility manned by UC and Freestar Collective observers.
But no, you don't need to worry about me. I've had a terramorph try it on me before. I'm not susceptible.
I can't believe you do this to me. And to the UC.
Looks like the last of them. No sign of the morph, though.
I knew it. The second I heard that recording, I knew.
Look, Percival and I, we need to tend to these samples. Guarantee we'll be able to handle cleaning up the leeches as well as the terramorphs.
What can I take for you, Captain? All right, let's get to the bottom of this.
Good to see you.
Plant's turrets took a beating. But I should be able to set up a couple kill lanes for you. You can lead our friend right into a crossfire. You could sneak a leech into a city, or even multiple leeches, into a place like New Atlantis.
Shh! I heard something.
But if what happened on Londinion is starting to happen elsewhere, sudden, unpredictable attacks, no place in the galaxy would be safe. I certainly hope so.
Old habits die hard, you know?
It can be a daunting experience. Which is why I wanted to make sure, before you agreed to anything, we gave you the whole truth. If we could only be so lucky.
Remember me?
No need to worry. I'm fixed up now.
The man I was cloned from, my father, was executed for acts he committed during the war. The man caused a lot of death, on both sides.
I do. Let's put it to good use.
And as to what our research is doing in there, well, I'll get to that.
I'm not about to let him control my future. I'm ready to start something new. And thanks to you, I'm getting a chance to do it.
Sappy's not a good look on you, Captain.
The weapon's back online.
Hello. I wish I'd found this earlier. You notice those sensors around the facility? Part of a livestock tracking system. What have we stumbled on here, Captain? Not happening.
We're too vulnerable without our shields.
You think you can extract the cells we need? But even knowing that they faked his death, you know what I feel right now? A feeling I can't shake. All right, just promise me you'll come back safely. Good. Okay, once I see the connection reset, I'll get things underway on my end. I patched myself into a terminal on the roof, so I can give you cover from there. Exactly. The people he harmed deserve justice. Well, it hasn't really been utilized since my program. For a specific reason. Well, thank you for telling me. I'm glad I know.
And even more glad to have someone on my side who's willing to tell me the tough truths.
I'm not sure exactly where to find him, but last I heard he was contracting with the Trade Authority on Mars. Security Chief Sarkin and the President, harder to read. When the time comes, you're going to have to do it.
I am sincerely inclined to agree, but current evidence suggests nature manages it just fine.
He's in a unique position and has done a special kind of harm to the colonies. Well, on our end, the Terramorph data has proven more thorough than I remembered. Genetic workups, population statistics, hell, even their food chain.
Just glad it was me. Time was, I had access to one of the best repositories of Terramorph research in the galaxy. Seems a natural place to start looking, if I can figure how to access it.
The UC maintains a presence there, keeps an eye on things, scares off any trespassers.
If you decide you want to track Kaiser down, come back and I'll get you squared away. Now please, go check in with your commander. We need to know what we're dealing with. I just thought you ought to know.
They do find a way of injecting themselves into your lives, don't they? Just our lot, I suppose.
Hey, what have you got there? As soon as that security connection's reset, I can start getting things back online.
Damn, they're gone.
Look! It's working!
Come with you? You can't be serious. There's no way Percival would okay that. I have important work to do here with the TMD. But when the UC ran low on synthetic foods during the Colony War, the Asylees were chosen to fill in the gaps.
When it counts, she'll do the right thing. Eventually. I'm happy where I am. I want to stay right here, doing exactly this for as long as I can. I'm right behind you. Then we could start getting some answers about this thing. So, did you manage to nab one?
But if they share a genome, like most nymphs and adults do, the microbe should have no problem dealing with heat leeches and terramorphs.
Well, it wasn't something I could talk about with a lot of people.
My God, look at it. A Lazarus in bloom. You know, we might be some of the only. I believe we already recovered it.
He said that? I mean, I guess. You're sure you'd really want me to come with you?
Of course you are.
My hero. At least you follow orders well. Maybe you are military. Either way, we can make this work.
They're gonna want to hear this. That's definitely not what I thought I was signing you up for. But thank you.
You made the right call. I just need some time to process.
Understood? Fine. But I'm not going too deep. A lot of things happened back then that I'm not proud of. You know I can't do that. There's too much to be done with the TMD.
Presumably the same person reported the disturbance to the Vanguard. Never did end up getting their name, though.
Thanks. I'll try not to make that a habit. Now, all I'd be doing is acknowledging that he still has some sway over my life. And while I can't do anything about his role in my past,
that man was a butcher. Meaning once McIntyre's through with you, you've got a place with us there. I don't see how that's an option. And when they did, the planet had to be abandoned. Like collecting Kaiser. Okay. Maybe I did want to talk about it. A little bit. But first, you'd have to know the truth about all this. That's my father he's addressing. He was here? This must be right before he ordered the port destroyed.
I'm listening. Until his defeat during the Colony War, though, he was known as an extremely effective commander. Savvy. Perceptive. That mind opened a lot of doors for him. And for me, too.
You know, while we've got a second, was there anything else we needed to discuss? I know you got dropped into the middle of this pretty fast. Welcome, everyone, to the TMD.
Who's next? Most people would be too squeamish to do that.
I want to be a big part of its future. And I think traveling with you is the best way to do that.
I've already sent along a summary of all the options to the cabinet.
We just took down one of their weapons! Stay on guard. They might be hiding.
All right. That's damn right we are. Come on. Let's get out there.
Yeah, I guess I, of all people, should know what a burden that can be.
Weapons are prepped for combat. Time we shared what went down here. Easy enough. But being locked up until all the stars in the galaxy fizzle out and die? That seems like a good start. Judging how you handled yourself out there,
and how you got assigned to visit the tail end of the universe, my guess is you are UC military. Vanguard, most likely. Yeah, I'm not sure of a lot, but I don't think I'd be alive otherwise. But if you're really that concerned, you could request they be lenient. They might be willing to spare him.
You swore!
Any last things we needed to discuss?
You know me. Happy to help out however I can.
Nira's about as dangerous as they come. I'd gear up in Sidonia before heading out. But something I found in the Terramorph data makes me suspect the theory might have gotten it right. But we can get to that. Time for us to start getting some real answers. And figure out if we've been asking the right questions. But it can't justify slaughter. Meaning there's a very good chance their prey, the Terramorphs, came from Londinian too. Oh, how? How exactly did you manage to find them? Did my father tell you what he knew about the Lazarus plant? Deploying alien life forms isn't exactly new, but I've never heard of one that could pull off something like this. But we'll have time to sort all that out. I still just can't believe we witnessed it in the first place. One of my favorite aliens in the settled systems is native to the Archimedes system. It's a massive xylophagic creature with almost impenetrable armor. I don't get nostalgic often, but there's just something about returning home. All this carnage. This is my father's work. He's ordered the port bombed during Londinian's outbreak, sacrificing these people. This is what he left behind. Everything's gone quiet. These attacks. I think someone planned them to set all this in motion.
I'd never.
And the planet also never had a significant Terramorph population prior to the outbreak, which you'd expect from a species homeworld. I doubt we'll find any creatures around here. But I think you should track down my father, wherever he may be, and find out what he knows about the attacks. Get up here. Second floor, main building. One with the Tau sign on it. But be quiet. It's still out there. Hey, they've really cleaned this place up.
Let's end this quickly.
The same thing that happened here, but on a massive scale. Terramorphs appeared in Londinian without warning, decimating the locals.
About face, Captain. This area's not suitable for humans.
It's hard to know exactly what might sway them. Thank you, ma'am. Left us wondering. Any conjectures on why Orlays might have committed the attacks?
I'm ready to go.
One of the reasons the cabinet isn't exactly clamoring to see me again. It's my father, Admiral Francois Sanon. Ve Victus.
My father being alive didn't feel important? That's supposed to make me feel better? That old geezer will drive the place into the ground if I let him have his way. They brought a weapon back online! They repaired their weapon!
It's true, ma'am. I heard the recording myself. My father figured out how to use Terramorphs as weapons. A madman justifying slaughter? Sounds familiar. Most of what we'll be collecting is specific genetic, anatomical, and behavioral documentation. This is the world he left behind. Probably thought he was protecting us all, taking it to his grave.
But the others, they're helping us! Percival! Are you doing this?
I'd hate to see a power like that used in war. This is headed straight to Mars. Join us there once you're done.
I know it's here somewhere.
That's all I'm asking. Thank you. The deputy did say things went well at the embassies. Impressive work.
Weapons back! Fire away!
Because the UC, they did a lot of terrible things for that man. I was raised in New Atlantis, but Mars feels more like home. It needs to be tuned to be effective. And for something the size of a Terramorph, I think you'll want to tune it to 183.5. We're cleared for access, but we'll need to check in with the base commander, Sarah Hatoum, when we touch down.
That's an interesting specimen. Just get the thing to chase you down the alleys between the buildings, and you'll lead it right into a crossfire.
Shit. That creature? It's dominated. It means there's morphs nearby. Put it down!
Anything interesting out there?
So stay alert, and you'll stay alive. And leave enough of the thing so we can get that sample. So we're going to correct that by removing Terramorphs from human worlds and giving them one where we won't bother them anymore. Londinian. Miss that old machine. What's left of the settlers? The work of Auxisio Machina. A Terramorph.
I have room in my pack. Let me take some of that.
But it meant we generated extensive research materials on the creature.
every bit of which was sealed in the Armistice archives when the war ended and xenowarfare was banned.
We'd breed populations of them, distribute them to human worlds, and let the Asylees take care of the rest, using a method that nature's already perfected.
All I can do is move forward and try to better myself. Who knows? If I stick with it long enough, I might even bring some good to the settled systems.
So, did you take some time to think about accompanying us to Londinian? Only 3 other people I'd want on a mission like this, and I'm looking at one of them.
These creatures, they're a slow-moving plague. They show up on human-settled worlds decades after colonization. They called him Ve Victus. Woe to the defeated, in Old Earth Latin. A title he earned.
We thought they were harvested to extinction.
I can take a few things off your hands?
He's also got a lock on his voice controls. You can give yourself authorization with the phrase, Nos belli machinis.
Get up here. 2nd floor main building. But be quiet. It's still out there.
Lobbing a grenade!
But there's also been a theory for years that Londinian is the Terramorph homeworld.
I did. Older terramorphs, they're capable of a kind of pheromonic projection.
My father. All right. What is it?
A practice that's been banned ever since the armistice went into effect almost 20 years ago. And the UC military cut us loose for what we'd done.
Never expected it would happen this fast.
So, what are you thinking?
And it's why what's happened here could be real bad news for the rest of human civilization.
That looks like our shipping yard.
And if you get in trouble, remember, you're safe at home base. You can do this. Show it didn't mess with the wrong shock trooper.
That I don't have an answer for right now.
When my father bombed the place?
Oh, sure. I think what the captain's trying to say is those Marines and all the troopers here, the city owes them a great debt. It feels like I finally found the purpose I've been looking for.
And what's the point of a crew if you're going to carry everything yourself?
You have had so many chances to tell me he was alive. I can't believe you waited this long. I thought you respected me more than that. I have a lot of stories that end with me almost becoming something's lunch. But UC Vanguard's a hell of a lot better than what I've got.
Hey, you need something?
I hate to say it, but I think your instinct about him might have been right.
You're right. But the risks of the microbe, I don't know. That's an understatement. For a soldier like me, serving the UC wasn't just a way of life. It was my purpose. It made life seem worth living.
Let's talk after the briefing, all right?
I'll bet you can find a use for this.
You ready to do this?
And not risking any surprises when it comes to dealing with the microbe.
Bring justice to all the people he harmed. Wait's almost as bad as the fighting. What? I'm trying to listen.
Clearly, I misunderstood.
Goodbye, Captain.
Of course. So when humans settle a world, 70 to 100 years later, terramorphs tend to just appear. But no one knows how or why. Dangerous, but at least predictable. Humanity's spread plenty of creatures in our travels across the stars. Pets, livestock, pests.
I wish I had more information on Percival. It's been a long time since I've seen him. But was there something you needed?
All right, hand those samples over to Kaiser, and we can move on to finding the others.
So, any topics we need to discuss before heading in there?
Maybe. But then, why let us clean up the terramorphs? Take away the only thing that makes the plant useful. It doesn't add up. Agreed. That seems like it'd be a bridge too far even for the UC brass. But this creature, I need to understand what it's doing here. To do that requires a tissue sample from it, and to get a sample, I need its corpse. Have you really known all this time my father was alive and never thought to mention it?
Backup? What does that have to do with me?
Yes, ma'am. Sorry. I'm just now learning about my father being alive.
I'll watch your 6.
Better hide.
And we even think we could program the microbe to disable heat leech's ability to transform into terramorphs altogether. That means sterilizing the species is still an option too.
It does.
I think we need to find these things fast before they turn any of these folks against us.
Kaiser, any chance there's a shipping manifest in that new data of yours?
Fall back. 1, they want to see this analysis you two have procured. Nowhere would be safe.
Gathering your thoughts?
I've always said that xenobiologists like us don't get enough credit for the things we put up with in the field.
You can free the controlled by killing the morph, but we're gonna have to be extra cautious out there.
But I guess that's just another part of his sick legacy now. He thought he was protecting us all, taking the secret to his grave. And I'll make sure we're ready to put him to use as soon as you've got him.
Probably a long shot, but you didn't happen to grab one, did you?
The analysis shouldn't take long.
Enemy weapons functional!
Another madman justifying butchery. So my involvement, it could be another obstacle they throw at us up there. I just wanted you to be forewarned. They'll also need the consent of the other signatories of the Colony War Armistice, the Freestar Collective and House Varun, in order to unlock it.
Tracker's reading green, and
What's that sound?
once you finish your investigation, we'll meet you outside the cabinet chambers. Should even be able to house its own cadre of independent observers.
Plus, if what we just witnessed was happening anywhere else, well, it wouldn't just be Londinian lost to these things. We should scan the area for mineral deposits.
Let me know if that changes. Then that clinches what we have to do next. A threat this vast, we can't stop on our own. We have to talk to the cabinet. All right, now you gonna clue me into who I'm dealing with? Could really use a UC vet with some combat experience in my life right now.
He was an admiral for the UC during the Colony War. An infamous one. His name was Francois Sanon, but everyone called him Vevictus.
There's no way this was going to happen without you.
A wartime boomtown wiped off the map before it could really even put down roots.
This terramorph shouldn't be here. They normally only appear on planets where humans have been living for decades, even centuries. Captain, was about to send out a search party.
You took it down? By yourself? Maybe the universe sent me my shock trooper after all.
So, would you be willing to do some investigating? See if you can turn up anything on the attacks? Well, you don't seem too worse for wear. What can I do?
You know I can't do that. I've got an assignment.
Well, you've done the Vanguard proud. We're going to need all the help we can get to figure out how to stop more attacks.
Eye strain from the amount of reading I've got on the horizon if we succeed. Now I need to get this work up in the cabinet's hands. Once that's done, I'll meet you out front of Mast in New Atlantis.
How dare you!
I'll try not to slow you down. We've had a few discussions, but our group is similarly split.
You'd make a decent field biologist, Captain.
Absolutely.
Take a look.
Hold it.
We need to get our suits ready.
I hope to stay right here, doing exactly this. You've given me a sense of belonging that I haven't felt in years. I'd be stupid to throw that away.
Let's move out. I think what we just observed would suggest otherwise, and the eyes were my parting gift.
Well, I think using those turrets to your advantage is going to make this a whole hell of a lot easier.
Do you need me somewhere?
He doesn't see people. He sees objects to be used and cast aside. I am not like that. Not anymore.
I'm all right with that. We'll get this in front of the cabinet and see what they have to say.
They have no idea who they're messing with.
I mean, we never spent a lot of time together. He was too busy being fleet admiral to raise kids. But from all accounts, he was a brilliant commander.
Because the Terramorph project was doomed from the start.
No contacts.
But how the hell an undetectable egg turns into a Terramorph without anyone noticing is a question no one's ever found an answer to. Let's get moving.
So the biggest issue we've got for the moment is deciding where exactly we want to deploy the limited manpower we've got.
He ordered the bombing of the spaceport on Londinian during their outbreak. Thousands dead.
Any ideas where we could find a shipping manifest? He could pick out subtle details from intel, or an enemy formation that others missed. That mind opened a lot of doors for him. And for me, too.
I sure could. Because to confirm my suspicions about this creature, I'm gonna need a tissue sample from it. And to get that, I need its corpse.
You don't know the half of it. But I'm not that person anymore. Now, I think you have other places to be.
What would you say to delivering this to him for me?
I don't think we're getting down to the port without their help.
Oh, that is a little better. That's actually a souvenir from my time on Mars. Though I really wish you'd brought this up before right now.
What the hell is going on?
An environmental study on this biome would yield fascinating results.
Let's hear it. I'm just glad neither of us ended up bug food.
I'd like the chance to study that.
Okay. Watch yourself.
And while I'd love to believe that's impossible, we've got definitive evidence for exactly none of it. So we can't completely rule it out.
That creature that's roaming around out there? An Oxysio Machina, better known as a Terramorph.
Captain? Captain, please, go on. So I'm not thrilled about how you did it, but I suppose I can see past one moment of monumental boneheadedness.
I guess it makes sense, though, doesn't it?
It was just hard having that dropped on me up there.
I'll take that for you.
But then the other option, that someone captured one of the deadliest predators in the galaxy just to wipe out some settlers minding their own business?
Thank you, Captain. No rush. I'll stay right here. Captain? Deputy told me what went down. Impressive work. It's done. Now let's go check in with the sergeant.
But Terramorphs? They're different.
One quality sample from each creature should be all we need, so hope is we can make this a quick visit.
Stay sharp, Captain.
Not considering backing out now, are you? Come on.
I guess I shouldn't be surprised. Some independent group might have managed to figure it out again. But in my case, it complicates things.
That the best you've got?
But there have been plenty of theories.
Knew there was a reason we brought you along.
Did I mention how damn glad I am you dropped onto this rock? You just flatlined a Terramorph! So I don't care if Victus is alive or dead. He can rot for all I care. What we're setting right now, that's what matters. You could sneak a leech into a city, or even multiple leeches, into a place like New Atlantis.
We'll compare what we have against that sample and the additional ones I took. Maybe we saw something like this before and overlooked it. No one to upset if more show up. Captain? Looks like we missed each other back at Mast. Listen, I just wanted to say, if we can get their support, we can get all our old Terramorph research out of the Armistice archives.
You're not done, right?
Truly. Thank you for telling me about Francois. It's good to know the truth, even if it's an ugly one.
My God, no time to waste, Captain. Stash the EM and pull some firepower. Let's move!
A microbe.
I need some space.
Take care of yourself, Sergeant. Don't want to keep them waiting.
Percival, the damage. How could this have happened?
I'm trying to look forward these days, not back. There's nothing left for me in the past but painful memories.
Well, neither option is without risk, but I honestly believe both could be viable.
Okay. I think we can let our guard down.
Not the sort of things any labs just got lying around. He's right, though. I have been missing field work. If you really need backup, I'd be happy to watch your six.
Ha! There you are!
Though I was a bit caught off guard when the commander of the Vanguard asked me how things were going as I was headed up the elevator. It means they can and do show up anywhere. Normally, that maturation takes decades, even centuries. But Tau Ceti's newly colonized.
Now raise hell.
I understand if you've got other commitments, but lives may be on the line here. Just think about it, all right?
My relationship with the UC. It's more complicated than it might seem at first glance. The UC's actually the only reason I'm here in the first place.
The problem isn't the Terramorphs themselves. It's that we spread them across the galaxy. Biologist. I'm just a biologist. But that truly does not matter right now.
Because confronting him, what would I gain from that? From letting him remind me I can never truly be rid of him? Nothing.
Hand that sample over to Kaiser. He should be able to compare it against the one from New Atlantis.
Lives are at stake, Captain. Remember that. Meaning, there's a very good chance their prey, the Terramorphs, came from that same world. Our battles got me plenty of commendations, but I don't think they were worth it. I ruined a lot more lives than I saved.
Music to my ears.
We need to get the shields back online!
I lost it! Keep your eyes peeled!
The city wouldn't be the same without us.
I've only seen one other sample like this. And it was from the world Terramorphs wiped off the map. Londinian.
Well, right now, we've got more questions than answers. So I've been trying to figure out what it's going to take to access our old Terramorph data.
Agreed.
Not me! Focus on the attackers!
We trust the captain's judgment.
I don't expect the cabinet's going to be thrilled about the prospect of rocking that diplomatic vessel.
Victus isn't coming back to wreak any more havoc at this point.
Shields just went offline.
My father was a deeply troubled human being.
Percival and I worked together for years. He was an alien researcher like me. A scintillating mind, but not what you'd call a people person.
As good a place to start as any. Something else you wanted to discuss?
Keep the chatter to a minimum.
Maybe.
I'm sorry you had to go through that. Those missions are hard. But I still have to ask. That's why we need to speak to the cabinet. Any creatures we meet around here will probably be nasty. We need to be careful. You could have really hurt someone with that.
Of course. You deserve the full story.
Oh, you don't understand what a weight off my shoulders that is.
He and I are different on more than a few levels. But there's no denying the fact we're inextricably linked. The UC of that era only created me because they were afraid of a world without Ve Victus in command. Why would they get rid of him? But Tau Ceti's newly colonized. And there's only one other documented example of terramorphs showing up out of the blue like this. It affects everyone differently, but some people just lose control, turn against everyone around them, even if they don't want to. They're like a puppet.
I won't begrudge you an Aurora trip if you want one, but I'll pass.
Well, don't keep me guessing. How'd you find them all?
I can't believe this is how you decided to tell me about my father.
It shouldn't be here.
You're right. We just need more information first.
19. And I've been paying for it every day of my life since. Which won't be much longer without some help.
But still,
Suppose that's a pretty good summary.
Ve Victus?
Well, so that's tricky.
But he clearly understands how valuable it'd be to have Kaiser involved in this endeavor. Come on, let's talk to the officers.
That'd be something, wouldn't? Comedy might not be your strong suit.
Is that the sample? Shoot to disable. Don't kill it. Do not hurt the sample.
He saw the potential of the plant as a weapon and hid it away. Let's discuss.
My hope would be that whatever connections he's got to the outside world disappear.
You know, I was thinking, while we were there on the podium, if I wanted to try and see him again.
This can work.
Give it here. Percival will be scanning the city for our samples from here. When he finds one, he'll transmit the coordinates to us out in the field.
But I guess what they're actually doing with all that energy they've been siphoning is fueling one hell of a transformation.
Yes, Captain. Travel safely.
This means that terramorph transformations, there's a way to trigger them.
That sample looks good. At least it... Wait. This can't be right. Something's wrong here. Your piloting really is exceptional, you know.
One of the nastiest aliens humanity's ever crossed paths with. And this one will... I'm worried it's a sign we're about to repeat some grim history.
Freestar hellhole. You're not talking about Nira, are you?
So, were you two able to get that workup together? But what you've done for Percival, for me, for everyone, well, there aren't words to express how grateful I am. This was not what I was expecting. Just give me your stuff. You're mine now. But we're going to have to figure something out. Because there is no way we're getting answers without a sample from that thing.
Yes, but terramorphs, they're an invasive species. They've been following humans wherever we go, all across the galaxy.
I mean, we never spent a lot of time together. He was too busy being fleet admiral to deal with kids. I was raised by a pair of guardians instead.
Enemies back! Over here!
Let's move out.
Then we need to figure out what's going on here and how we can keep things from getting worse. But that's not something we can do on our own.
Shields enabled. Let's get in there.
One of the weapons is offline.
And all routes are going to require some highly specific materials to make things work.
Unfortunately, you did not. I'm sorry, are you? You're serious? Captain, what you did back at Mast?
One that deserved to be punished for what he did.
Well, I don't want you thinking it's not appreciated.
Let's find that EM weapon.
Take care of yourself, Sergeant.
I understand. Look, the security outpost's in the middle of the facility. Whenever you're ready, you can head right there. We need to get Percival up to speed on all of this. I don't know of a better source of information about terramorphs in the galaxy.
We'd breed populations of them, distribute them to human worlds, and then let nature take its course.
Need some help here!
I used to be one of the best in the galaxy at this kind of thing.
Hopefully it'll all come back to me. As long as I live, I'll never understand the loyalty that old bastard elicited.
But Ve Victus is the only solid lead we've got on the attacks. My guess is the Chief Engineer and Admiral Logan will likely support our request. They know how bad Londinian was. Need me to take a few things?
What is that the sample? Shoot to disable! Do not kill! Don't kill it! Which would also explain why no one ever suspected that planet as the Terramorph source world. The Aseles were too damn effective at cleaning them up.
Whatever the hell that was, well, I'm glad you took care of it. But I suppose there's no real harm in asking for leniency if for some reason you think that's merited.
Right.
He was my best friend. We shared everything. Sometimes I still forget he's gone, even after all this time. But it was during that assignment that the UC asked us to explore deploying terramorphs on the battlefield. Lou was telling me what you did for Percival. You've got my sincere thanks for taking care of that. I'm Hadrian. I was a researcher with the UC. This? I didn't know if this was ever going to happen. Well done, Captain. These creatures, they've been a slow-spreading plague for as long as humanity's been among the stars. But they took time to appear. But no one knows how they've been following us. So if what happened on Londinian is starting to happen elsewhere, sudden, unpredictable attacks, no place in the galaxy would be safe. I'm gonna help Percival and Kaiser prep, but once that's done, we'll rendezvous with you there. Any major decision the UC makes goes through them. He survived?
Let's just talk to the troopers, all right? I'll get the job done.
But if you can make it to the security outpost and restore the connection, I think I can get things back online. See if the settlers left us any other tools. So what about your end? Did you find anything?
Either I got hit harder than I thought, or you've got some incredible timing.
The turrets. Let them do the work for you. There's breakers on each of the buildings you can throw to get them firing again. They should be unlocked now. And to do that, someone has to get to the security outpost. Across the compound. Not a far walk, but a risky one. Sorry, I should really get back to the data.
It's back! Bring it down, now! The thralls, they're attacking the anomaly. Percival, are you doing this? I can take you!
But honestly, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I set this aside for you a while ago. Thanks, but no thanks. I've been getting by just fine without him for a long time now.
All right. Just make it quick, I guess.
Yes, almost hard to believe. Suppose we were just in the right place at the right time.
Now we just need our terramorph sample and we can blow this icebox. Percival, ready for another scan? Wherever humans colonize, 80 to 100 years later, terramorphs. Invasive, dangerous, but at least predictable. That sector of Nera was destination number 1 for xenoweapons during the war. I guess I've still got it after all.
Well, I'm sorry you feel that way. UC's certainly got its fair share of skeletons. Present company included, I suppose.
I'm not sorry you told me, but it's a hard truth to swallow.
What? How did you...
All right, stay sharp out there.
The enemy's down a weapon. Not important? My father is alive. I need you to tell me right now how you found that information.
It's only the captain who's yet to make a final way in. Percival, you should unplug and find somewhere we can talk. Privately. Bingo. We just need to stay sharp. Watch your fire lines, ignore distractions, make sure what you're aiming at is an alien, not a person.
Well, when the colony war came to a close 19 years ago, with the signing of the armistice, 3 factions were involved in the negotiations.
But primarily, we'll use the old analyses to look for a way to prevent these sorts of appearances from ever happening anywhere else. This is exactly what I was afraid of. If what we found here today is just the first wave of more attacks,
all right, fine. If Percival's willing to lose his best scientists to field work, that's on him. Besides, he'll be on my ass about it forever if I say no.
So getting him back, that would be a huge break. Did you really find him? Need something? I left some space in my pack just for you. But he's very likely the only other person in the known universe that can verify if our sample is a match for those from Londinian.
Got him!
We're gonna have plenty to discuss once we get out of here.
I mean, how did he even find it?
Hand that off to Kaiser. He'll be able to ensure it stays viable. Well, I think it's safe to say you succeeded beyond anyone's wildest dreams.
If you can get to the security outpost and grant me remote access, I can try and get things back online and see if there aren't any other tools the settlers left for us.
You know, no one even realized it was a living thing until someone got it under a microscope and saw it had cells.
Can't say I've ever spent more than a few hours in Neon.
Tough as titanium, they sneak onto planets by hiding in ship engines, build nests on anything that puts out warmth, animate or otherwise, and make more leeches.
I think that was the last of them.
Nerves kicking in?
Which means I'd really appreciate your help in getting that sample to where it needs to go.
The environment's devastated. There's little, if any, real law. Nero's got more than enough ways to make any visit your last.
But if they were turning on each other, made it to the outpost in one piece, huh? Nicely done. Look, I'll try to make this quick then. It looks like a pretty standard, well, we believe that report to be correct, ma'am. Reginald Orlays appears to have committed the attacks.
But even knowing all that I do, you know what I feel right now? The feeling I can't shake? Weapons been repaired!
Of course it is. But I was a red devil, wasn't I? Tougher things than my relation to Ve Victus have tried and failed to keep me down.
No wonder no one's found him. Xenoweapons are just the tip of the iceberg in that place.
It's good to be back at base.
Which explains how something as big as a terramorph has been spreading between worlds with no one noticing. Until now.
Hadn't realized you were UC Navy this whole time.
Admin access is centralized to this building, so I need to stay here to get the system running as soon as the connection's live again.
They thought we were too dangerous to exist. I take blame for that. My unit wouldn't have been as lethal as it was without me at the helm.
All wrapped up. Time to get the hell out of here.
Well, luckily, UC's got good medical care. Can go get that looked at. Believe me, it truly hasn't. Let's just finish this.
It must be nice to be rich enough to live in one of those skyscrapers.
No, that's impossible. He's gone. My father is dead.
But if the opportunity to prevent widespread devastation wasn't cause enough for you...
Make it quick. I'm not in the mood to talk.
Hey, nothing wrong with the sample, I hope.
What do you have for me this time?
People are far from the most dangerous thing out there. It's a good thing we've got weapons and armor to make up the difference.
Then we should get moving. I'll meet you out front of Mast, Captain. Well, just know that they were a natural predator of the Terramorphs. Bloodhounds for them, allegedly.
Did I mention how damn glad I am you dropped onto this rock? You just flatlined a Terramorph.
So if there is even a chance Terramorphs could start instantly maturing like this one did, or like the ones that destroyed Londinian,
Nah. Might have been a little comforting to know. Even if Twala did mention you were still a little green.
Oh, the captain? Yes, ma'am. Couldn't do this without her.
It's certainly not encouraged, but the UC's given their sign-off for this excursion. This trip is all above board. What he's doing working for an organization with other human beings, like the Authority, is anyone's guess.
you can free the controlled by killing the morph, but we're gonna have to be real cautious out there. Have each other's backs. Now at least we can inform the cabinet and let them deal with him.
So, if you wanted to tell me, I'm heavy infantry and I've come to bring you the gift of ordnance, I wouldn't mind in the least.
All right, then. Let sleeping dogs lie. The man's dead, and I'd rather not resurrect him.
Oh, so you just follow whatever order they give, or you could have used the EM gun like you were ordered. These are lives you're playing with here, so get your head in the game. Understand? What is that the sample? My God, put it down!
I've dealt with that before. And you and I have much, much more important things to deal with right now.
Terramorph outbreaks have taken down far bigger colonies than this one.
Oh, I've been better. But I think bleeding out is at least off the table. What I really need, though, is someone who knows their way around a weapon. Of me getting it wrong? Maybe. But Percival, I worked with him long enough to know that's not how his mind works. If he says it's a match, it is.
Wasn't relevant. That my father's been alive this whole time.
If they're maturing faster, that could mean thousands more attacks, just like Tau Ceti, just like Londinian, across the whole galaxy.
Well, 8. They went extinct a few decades back. A big lumbering thing called an Achilles.
I really think it could.
Now, to confirm my suspicions about this thing, I need to examine a sample of its tissue. If the terramorph growth cycle is accelerating, then we and the galaxy need to know.
So I guess we're still in discussion. Probably best at this point to let the cabinet weigh in. See if they have a preference.
Bad decision, Captain.
All information related to the things they decided should be banned was locked away in the archives.
Makes 2 of us.
Ah, there you are.
But the chief diplomat, he's the one I expect will need some convincing. Only the cabinet can help us access it now. Acknowledged and accepted, Captain.
Exactly. Someone saw the Lazarus plant and realized the ends it could be put to.
I never expected it would happen this fast.
So, this is it. Huh.
Captain, care to take a look?
Wait, what? I do. This is all yours.
We can't win this fight without shields!
I can give you cover from the roof. But the creature also doesn't seem to come in here. That's probably the only reason I'm still upright.
Should let you keep tabs on how close the terramorph is. But it's not connected to this network. There's a terminal on the floor above you. Head up there and tune it to 183.5. To our knowledge, no one's ever spread them intentionally. Yet somehow, they follow us. Which could mean more attacks from an enemy we can't even see before it's too late. More Tau Cetis. More Londinians. Nowhere in the galaxy would be safe.
We have to help them!
You want me to...
But now, knowing what I do,
So, knowing he's still out there...
among apex predators, they're the pinnacle. Resilient, agile, smart, and their mental prowess only increases with age.
Focus, Hadrian.
I can't believe you knew about my father all this time and lied to me. I thought we were... Well, I thought we at least respected one another more than that.
Never spent much time in Aquila City. Bet you can guess why.
Take your time. I'll wait. Take care of yourself, Sergeant.
No signs of life in the vicinity.
You come see Dr. Walker or I. If you pick a fight with one, or you're a terramorph, sure. But they were known colloquially as space moose. They're livestock. Benign.
Kaiser, we close enough for you to dial in the location of those samples from here? Those cases, you'll either need to knock them out with EM fire, or free them by killing the terramorph. The only records of her I've been able to find say that she was recruited to join Aegis when she was 20. I think she must have been killed in the field.
I'd rather not.
The only other documented time terramorphs showed up uninvited like this. Well, the world they showed up on had to be abandoned. I guess that makes not getting fired from your crew my greatest hope.
It's only the captain who has yet to make a final weigh-in.
Let's grab that sample and get out of here. Come check in with us once McIntyre's done with you. And some lose control altogether. They'll lash out at anyone around them, but still be aware while they're doing it.
But it doesn't. It can't justify slaughter.
And that it's ultimately going to be safer if we handle these morphs ourselves. No backup. Which would also explain why no one ever suspected that planet as the terramorph source world. The Achilles were too damn effective at cleaning them up. It hunted by sucking the oxygen from the atmosphere around it to suffocate its prey. Isn't that fascinating?
Wait,
You did it, didn't you? Heavens above, you just flatlined a terramorph.
we've got them now.
Hand those over to Kaiser before we get any more visitors. The workup's in the cabinet's hands. They said they'll call for us once they've gotten to properly review it. Humanity's spread plenty of creatures in our travels across the stars. Pets, livestock, pests.
He's really alive? And you decide now was the right time to tell me?
Nope. Not even an iota. The man's dead. Leave him be. Or lays.
You can count on me to pull my weight. I'll always help out in combat, and I'm happy to assist you with any research, too.
And that we should grab that EM weapon before we head out.
So what do you say?
Will you talk to your commander about delivering this sample for me?
I'd take Mars over Jemison any day.
It was nice talking with you.
Ah, Captain. I think I see it.
Be careful with that.
The recording said it all.
But I think there's a way we can give ourselves an edge against this thing. The plant security system.
There it is! Fire! Fire! I can't believe you knew it was my father this whole time and lied to me. I thought we at least respected one another more than that. Hey, save that for the battlefield.
Makes two of us. A lot of possibilities, but no clear answer.
There you are.
So, in the interest of full disclosure, there's one more thing you ought to know before we head up there.
I knew it was him. I knew it. I guess.
So did you actually find Kaiser? Well, you better keep that EM weapon loaded then. Now let's move.
Take that as a no, then.
Yes, there are. Apparently, the Asylees were bloodhounds for terramorphs.
We're on it, ma'am. That means, theoretically, what happened on Londinian could happen anywhere. And at a faster pace than any earlier terramorph attacks.
Don't rush in, at least. I'll give you that.
You can even show them this, my gene tag. Tell them Hadrian Sanon thinks there could be another Londinian on the horizon. Maybe we'll get lucky and they'll recognize the name. And asking a group of Marines to accompany us for that kind of work, well, it usually ended up with ruined samples and wounded teammates.
No, I don't. The colony war ruined a lot of lives, including mine. But I do miss my soldiers. It's been a lonely couple of decades.
Captain, I'd like you to be there to speak to the cabinet with me, but I want to make sure you're clear on what I'm proposing.
Answering that question is what brought me here in the first place.
But it's turning out to be a job I can't do on my own. He saw the potential of the Lazarus plant as a weapon, and he condemned all these people. He's... Captain, welcome back.
They did? And hopefully, how to prevent more attacks like the one that spawned it.
But if Kaiser has been out wandering on his own for all this time, you're gonna need a couple things.
Good God. The attack on New Atlantis, could someone have set that up? Then it means the cabinet can make sure he's dealt with. That nothing like this happens again.
Yet what the hell happened back there, Captain? There's no excuse for using lethal force here.
Alive. I can't believe it.
Changed your mind? All right. I have plenty of work to do here. For what it's worth, though, I'd be happy to join you anytime.
We've got our target, Captain.
That seems unwise.
I deal with enough demons at work. I don't need them taking up space in my personal life, too. And opening the archives is a big request. So it sounds like the cabinet's not lifting a finger until they can verify our stories.
We need to talk to the cabinet. Maybe. But trusting that man cost more than a few people their lives.
Taking fire over here!
I mostly visited remote places with interesting creatures. I didn't want to be around a lot of people after the war ended.
My God, no time to waste, Captain! Boots in the dirt!
Here goes.
Most people probably wouldn't use that power responsibly.
One of the weapons needs repairs.
All right. I spotted a microscope downstairs. Let's see if we can't get to the bottom of this.
Oh, I'm flattered, but I don't think so. I'm doing important work here. Percival needs my help. He would not okay me abandoning my post.
Stay safe. During the colony war, he was responsible for a lot of death. Military and civilians. Free Star and UC. He was executed for what he did.
Both the suits are leak-free. Good thing, too. We'll need them out there.
But there is a way we can give ourselves an edge against this thing. The plant security system. And the last thing I want right now is for the UC to stick us with some gung-ho jarhead who's gonna put us and the mission at risk.
New Atlantis is beautiful, but it's never really felt like home.
Well, it's not what any of us could have expected. Yes. It will be.
This suggests that however it is terramorphs are getting onto our worlds, Asylees are somehow cleaning that up as well. These creatures are good at what they do.
Admire? Hardly. But respect? How could you not? Unless there was more to discuss. When I heard the rumor of a terramorph all the way out here, I had to know if it was true.
But I don't think you're gonna have to push real hard to get folks on board with cleaning up one of the galaxy's greatest pests, if this is what they're capable of.
Nor I. But if there's a chance he's actually trying to help, well, maybe it's worth looking into. It's a defense mechanism in Ultramorphs, a kind of pheromonic projection, causes confusion, disorientation, and infighting. Good. Once I see security access granted, I'll radio. And if things start getting too hot out there, come back to this building. Ensure the big show, the attack on New Atlantis, would be a success.
No offense intended. I'm curious about this ecosystem. I'd like to explore it more closely. I swear, New Atlantis gets bigger every time I visit. We wouldn't have to worry about more surprise attacks, and we wouldn't be offing an entire species.
I'm on it.
Vivictus. He saw it too.
Maybe I was. But I'm not that person anymore. Now I'm done talking about this. You should head to Nira.
Why anyone would capture and release one of the most deadly predators in the galaxy to just... What?
Stay sharp.
Been great so far. I'm happy to be working with Percival again. I think the TMD's set up to make a real difference in the settled systems.
He killed those people to keep them from sharing what they might have seen. He was...
Stand down. We're alone out here.
I understand. Well, the security outpost's in the middle of the facility. Whenever you're ready, you can head right there.
A microbe.
Can do, Captain.
Killed all those people because of a chip on his shoulder and an obsession with his own status. That sounds like Vivictus.
Well, once we inform the cabinet, they can ensure he won't be able to do anything like this ever again.
But the war had other plans. Trajan was killed in the field. I don't know any more than that. One day he was here, the next he was just gone. I'll fall in behind you.
What if the attack on New Atlantis, it wasn't just a coincidence? What if someone set up these attacks?
Well, it was during that assignment that the UC asked us to explore deploying terramorphs on the battlefield. Don't you dare tell him I said that.
You! Move quickly, quietly up to the second floor of this building. Your life may depend on it.
They're turning on the anomaly. Percival, are you doing this?
The cabinet not opening the archives is probably a bigger risk than them handing over the files. That data itself isn't dangerous.
Don't do that again. This isn't a joke. We're preventing casualties, not causing them. So get your head in the game. Understand?
So before we can take this to them, we need to prove both plans are actually viable. And that's going to require some specific samples from both creatures.
I don't have access to my old research anymore, but I know someone who should be able to verify for us if this sample is as bad as it seems.
I suppose I can understand the captain's hesitance in accessing the archives. But now, well, the situation's changed. For all of us.
They kept him? Of all people.
My pleasure, Captain. It was good to reminisce. I haven't talked about my service in a long time. The way things ended with the UC after the war, I just...
I'll handle this.
And yes, our evidence is limited.
System got hit bad during the blasts. No surprise. Vivictus wanted to make sure no one made it out of here. So we just misheard you, right?
We can't let them hit us with the shields down!
It's Major, Sanon, Sergeant. Freshly reinstated.
But it's been decades since I got a direct look at the Londinian sample. So I still think it'd be worth looking into. If you're willing.
I know. It sounds crazy. And it's going to take serious work. Even with the kind of manpower the UC has said they can provide, we're talking years.
The Martian Trade Authority is where I'd start your hunt for Percival. After you get clearance, of course. Or did you need something from me?
Let's talk somewhere more private. I mean, I had to, right? It could have been my last chance.
So, did you ever get an explanation why he did it?
Exactly. Why is this one so special? Why is it here? But we're not figuring any of that out while it's still alive. Captain, we should report back to the President. Let her know the terramorphs have been dealt with.
What's that?
The UC's already agreed to send us some manpower to get this place online again.
Slow and steady. We don't know what we're dealing with.
Faye Victus was barely a part of my life when he was alive, but defined every part of it.
I believe that's exactly what that means. Look at that skyline. Just beautiful. They're creatures without peer.
Tau Ceti was likely their first test, someplace remote where no one would question a few settlers going missing.
I came here on a rumor of a... Well, I think you two have already gotten acquainted.
I don't see how that's an option.
You think you've seen everything. Then you see something like this. Well, the years after the war were pretty dark for me. The Red Devils were disbanded as part of the armistice.
But I suppose there's no harm in us asking they treat him with mercy. Not that he's earned it.
Not here.
It's down! It's down!
Oh, you are serious. Okay. No more questions.
Only he didn't succeed. Now someone else knows about the Lazarus plant and is using it exactly how he feared. It'd be an error to think he's actually acting in good faith. But I also don't see what he stands to gain from helping prevent terramorph attacks.
Well, I'm sorry I wasn't more upfront about it. But it's not something I'm exactly proud of. We're headed to the cabinet chamber, top floor. I'm sure there'll be lovely house guests.
I mean, I hope they will, given the evidence we've acquired. But getting the Freestar Collective and House Varun on our side, that won't be easy. But if it's not that...
Something else you needed?